Hello and welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 145 for May the 6th, 2018. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can, as always, email the show at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Uh, Facebook is Swine Brothers, and Twitter is still SwineBros666. I am your barely awake host, Elliot Lindemood. As usual, the usual gang of idiots are.
I am the Jim, the seeing eye mutant.
And I'm Dan Amon, and I still have no idea what I'm doing here.
I think that will be my new name for you guys, the usual gang of idiots.
And I'm just holding you at gunpoint so you do this.
Well, I mean, I like doing the
not
show.
You, Elliot. It's your show. I'm holding Dan Amon at gunpoint.
I would hazard that Elliot couldn't even see the gun to be scared of it, so...
Yeah. That's what makes him feel so comfortable.
Yeah, well, right. And the fact that, I could barely see, I can't see it. Not many new albums. The new Dimmu Borgir album came out on Friday, and it sucked. And it can be picked up at Walmart. So if you want plastic black metal, you know where to find it.
Plastic.
Well, yeah. And that's, I think, the only album that's really been out. It's May, and we're actually sort of on a semi-regular schedule.
Yay. And I gotta say, don't worry to start. The whole thing is, we have put a moratorium on talking about Trump, and we don't like to do so. For three major reasons. One, he's an easy target. He's a fucking billionaire doing billionaire things. What isn't there to make fun of? Two, he's the fucking president of the United States. The only difference between him and other presidents is the fact that he isn't owned by a corporation. He is the corporation.
Yes.
Some things will get better for some people, other things will turn to shit for others. That's the same thing with everyone that's fucking been in office.
Yep.
And number three, the fucking media goes batshit insane, coming up with conspiracy theories that make Time Cube look sane.
I mean, I got tired of talking about him when my dad would show me clips from late night shows, and everything was anti-Trump, 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 anti-Trump. And this was in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
This was a full year and a half before he ever won the election. This is before he was nominated. And it was like, I was hoping and praying to Cthulhu and Yogg-Sothoth and Goat that someone would kick him out of the thing, so I just didn't have to hear about him.
But no, this is all we're ever gonna hear. So we decided, let's do one show, just to get the fucking air going.
Yay! As Jim said, I have a gun to my head. So.
I got a gun to everyone's head. There's a bullet for everyone, and a time and a place. Yes, there's a bullet for everyone.
Poetry,
if you know what that's from, feel free to comment in the section down below.
Yes.
Anyways, from the Post, New York Post. The 2016 election was far from a fluke. Like we didn't know. The only thing I thought was a fluke was somehow people outvoted the damn corruption. Because I paid attention to the murmurs of the people, but I come from PA. We're number one in the confirmed counts of fucking voter fraud in the past 20 years. So, you know, I'm so used to seeing it that it's like I was surprised that people actually outvoted the fraud.
Well, I'm cynical enough to think that either Hillary or Clinton, there was definitely some vote fraud involved, or Hillary and Trump, definitely some vote fraud involved. Both sides want to win, and probably both sides fucked over everyone. That's why Jim Thompson should have been president.
Yes, that's right. I had a dozen votes. I was going strong. America's political experts got it wrong in 2016, not because they took too few polls, but because they made the false assumption that American elections are immune to societal change. That's one of the many reasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, But then again, one could be forgiven for thinking because they elected George W. Bush.
God. They are, in large part, still getting things wrong, not only by failing to understand a new group of voters who put President Donald Trump in the White House, but also ignoring why they voted the way they did. I think that's the big issue right there, why people voted the way they did. They want to ignore that and just project whatever the fuck they want on it. And in order to project, they have to concoct weird conspiracy theories, as aforementioned. Time Cube is now sanity.
Yes. And should be made into porn.
Yes, it should. With 4 simultaneous days in one single Earth rotation.
I told you that I randomly found, I wasn't looking for it, but I found on TV tropes that apparently mind control porn is a thing. So why don't we combine mind control and time cube?
Yes, because they go well together. When explaining the Trump voter, the media usually offers portraits of isolated, uneducated, working-class rubes who are driven by anger, which that is actually accurate for a small chunk of them.
I also have to say that, like, a lot of the Trump people I've heard are really disillusioned, but every time I ask them, how disillusioned do you have to be to elect Donald Trump? They have no answer. Like, how fed up do you have to be to think that this guy, I mean, throwing your vote away on Jim Thompson would be a fucking better alternative than electing Donald Trump.
Or Hillary. Oh, God. We'd be in World War III right now with her because that's how she makes her money.
Granted, that would actually benefit the show quite a bit.
Oh, maybe not. It would just benefit us because we'd want to live in the post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland.
Well, it would benefit the show. Fallout Swine Brothers. Super mutant. Tonight's guest, a super mutant that wandered into my home.
Wow, I want to kill humans. Please tell me more of this. This sounds great. Oh, God. To the experts and those who didn't support Trump, it's hard for them to see it any other way. And then we go into the part where she plugs her book where she's got some of this stuff. And we'll go into some of the people she interviewed. From Jefferson, Ohio. When you walk into the Legally Sweet Bakery on Chestnut Street, you can barely see Bonnie Smith standing behind the display cases filled with sugar cookies, tea cakes, cream wafers, brownies, and mini tarts.
I'm gonna rob that store. What do you want?
That'll just roll around in the pastries going, and then they'll be fucking a cream
one, it's good.
In no time.
I'm already fat.
Well, if you can't eat it, you can't fuck it. Then what's the point?
Whoa, okay, that's what she wonders why she's here.
Exactly.
No, I said I don't know why I'm here. I didn't say I didn't know.
You don't know why you're here, and yet you just said something that proves why you're here.
Yes. But don't let her diminutive size fool you. At 63, Smith is a powerhouse. After working her way up from a cook's job to the role of deputy sheriff at Ashtabula County Sheriff Department, she is now in her second career as a small business owner. It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, and she has already been up 8.5 hours baking delicacies to fill her cozy shop.
Okay, is she whining about that? Because, I mean, that sounds awesome.
And she's not whining about that. Just wait till we get to the actual interview. They're still giving the background.
I spent 8.5 hours baking, although I had spent 8.5 hours reviewing records.
I spent 8.5 hours baking. That was a lot of pot I smoked. Dear God. I was so baked.
Whoa, man.
I didn't even know my name.
That's about the state I am.
For years, Smith's politics reflected her community. She was raised a Democrat, like many Trump voters. Because guess what? He's a New York Democrat. Her parents were Democrats. Her husband was a Democrat. She worked for the Democrats.
Well, he's
She
more of
even
a political opportunist than anything else.
which is your typical New York Democrat, well, business Democrat from back in the day before it got taken over by, whatever the fuck it is now. I don't even know. It's fucking personality. It's always been personality cults, but this time it's even worse.
Well, now the
Like,
Democrats are right
notice.
wing, and the Republicans are just in fucking cloud cuckoo land.
No, the Republicans are adrift. They don't know what the fuck to do, especially after Trump. Because they're like, should we listen to the people or keep going full steam? They're
Kill all
fucking
humans.
confused. Yeah, that's what I say. She even voted for Bernie Sanders in the presidential primary in March 2016.
Well, I would have, except for I had zero confidence that he was actually going to get in because I knew that the Hillary monster would be up to her usual tricks. After he didn't get in, I sort of wondered whether or not, if he did get in, would he have sold out all his beliefs? I mean,
Well, you know that he would have afterwards because you saw he took his nice little sparkly jet that was paid for by someone else and gave Hillary full support, which
he's been going back on that, saying, well, the lesser of two evils. It's like, I don't care. Lesser of two evils is still pretty damn evil, and it's not the fun kind of evil either. It's
the boring kind of evil.
Yeah, why isn't it like, you know what? Let's vote for the evil midnight bomber with bombs at midnight.
Yes. Smith says that her dissatisfaction grew as she looked around her community. The main business district where her bakery is located was sprinkled with closed storefronts. The opioid crisis has ravaged the area, and every news story was about job cuts instead of job creation.
Yeah, welcome to America. And by the way, the opioid crisis, not to sound like a conspiracy nutter, because this is actually confirmed, but the CIA has long been involved in heroin trafficking and things like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, me.
It's funny whenever I point this at people. Oh, you're a conspiracy nutter. No, this is actually documented fact, but they haven't really been tried.
It's all over the fucking place. It's even on. God, it's not even listed under the conspiracy portion of Wikipedia. It's listed under the fact portion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wikipedia. The people that try to censor everything.
Well, okay, wait. I have to stop you there, Jim. Wikipedia does not try to censor anything because Wikipedia isn't a thing. It's the people who edit Wikipedia who try to censor. But the good thing about Wikipedia and why it's good is you can always revert edits. Which is why, I mean, most vandalism doesn't survive 45 seconds before, oh, that's vandalism, delete.
Or revert to a previous save.
Yeah, well, yeah, thanks. So, yeah, Wikipedia doesn't, it's the people who it's the people who edit.
Wikipedia is fucking stupid, okay? Because on a lot of the fandom sites and stuff, I'll go through and I'll see a goddamn legitimate spelling error, and I'll change it and I'll write that I changed a word because it was spelled improperly, and they'll fucking revert that shit. And I'm just like, what the?
Is that Wikia or Wikipedia? The two are different.
Either one.
I've never had that. I've actually had that where they don't revert. I've had to correct some punk in metal information because that's like all I know, and they've actually stuck with it. So, but yeah, but the thing is like,
I guess it just depends on which moderator or admin you get on which day.
People going after the opioid crisis and let's blame the drug dealer. Let's go after the CIA here. Because they're running, they were responsible for the crack epidemic in South Central. So,
yep.
But you want to blame the Mexicans and blame the,
Colombian cartels, maybe?
It's all the fault of the Mexicans.
I woke up one morning and said I had enough. I'm the kind of voter that was hiding in plain sight, that no one saw coming. I was right here all along. I've seen the job losses here, the rising crime, the mess and the heroin problem, society essentially losing hope. Something just gave in within me, she said.
So you're going to vote for a guy with documented mafia connections?
Why not? Because at least he could use his mafia connections to put more pot and LSD on the streets and get the heroin off.
Yeah, but he won't.
I know.
So there you go. You know, Trump reminded me of the people of the high school people who, said, elect me for president because I'll put soda machines in all the classrooms. He just told everyone what they wanted to hear, and now he's done nothing. Oh boy, he's taking credit for ending the Korean War, which could have ended 18 years ago if George Bush had shut his mouth.
But he couldn't because, he's a
moron. That's a documented thing. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, he had said a statement in 2001, I think it was, that Iran, Iraq, and North Korea form an axis of evil, and the North Koreans, who the South Korean president, whose name escapes me, had gotten further than anyone up to that point of getting North Korea to open its borders. And all of a sudden, the North Koreans were slamming the door in his face because they were afraid that Cowboy Cornholio was going to bomb him.
Mm-hmm. Smith's journey to that point was not an evolution, it was a revelation. And many others in the county in Ohio experienced the same eureka moment. That exact county that gave Barack Obama a 55% majority of its vote twice swung a remarkable 31 points to give Trump victory over Clinton by a margin of 57% to 38.
Wait, are we talking about Ohio?
Yeah, Ohio.
Oh, well, that fucking makes sense.
Same moron, different, or same moron, just a different meat suit.
Ohio is special.
Either way, Trump or Clinton, you're gonna get business as usual, just a different meat suit.
From Erie, PA, Dave Millett bears a striking resemblance to Kenny Rogers as he stands outside the Ugly Tuna Tavern on Pennsylvania Drive in this northeastern PA industrial town. It's a resemblance he's taken advantage of over the past 30 years as an impersonator at local bars and casinos in the region.
That's sad.
Dude, if I looked like someone I wouldn't care, I'd probably make money that way.
Eric said you look like a weird surfer dude guy.
That's not someone specific enough to make money.
You sound like a less demonic Glenn Benton. I'm a Glenn Benton impersonator. I just don't look anything like him.
It's fun and an extra income. Here, let me show you. He stands up to sing. A group of young people cheer as they walk inside the tavern. Millett hasn't had an easy life. He's been up, he's been down. He's been up again only to be struck down by illness. Now he's back up again.
Yeah, just in time to get down again.
Never once has he ever given up. You can't give up. Reinvent yourself. You make bank. You find a way. I've lost plenty of jobs and I've earned plenty of jobs. You just keep coming back up. Yep, that's what I say. And I've been kicked down more times than you can count.
I don't know, the way that the writer puts that, it kind of makes it sound like, he's pretending to be somebody else entirely in order to get a new job. So, like Frank Abernathy more than you.
Or you just stay down and just, watch all your friends die, and then you stand up and hide behind the corpses.
Or decorate the corpses for a new business venture.
Yes, but sometimes you have to hide behind them when the sniper starts shooting at you.
Yeah, true. Unconventional candidates attract voters for unconventional reasons.
Oh yeah, Trump's so unconventional. Yeah,
exactly.
He's really unconventional, like a hamburger with fries.
And the way Americans pick presidential candidates can be as emotional as any consumer behavior. Yeah, that's
See,
pretty much it. Sometimes you gotta say I'm pissed or I'm happy or I feel like doing something completely insane. Click. Oh, I launched the nukes.
Well,
Lovely.
I usually try to keep a cool head when thinking about stuff like this because it only really works if you have a cool head. I mean, and that's why I voted for Jim because I thought he had the best policies.
Yes, I want to defecate on the White House lawn. It does not matter who is president. And if I'm president, I'll definitely do it. It's just the symbolism of it.
Yes, and you can't. I don't know if you get arrested for that if you're president.
I'm pretty sure that counts under the diplomat law.
Yay, Jim had diplomatic immunity. Oh God, God help us all.
One group uniquely attracted Donald Trump, regardless of their politics, was voters that experienced setbacks in life and saw the same kind of vulnerability and recovery in Trump they had experienced themselves.
I'm sorry. He blew all his money, and then his father gave him $1 million.
No, okay, this is how those
And then
people
he
see it,
got-
okay? This is how you see it. You see a man who went into business and did the best he could and got fucked over. Or at least that's the way the public perception is of him.
Oh yeah,
He did everything he could to try to make money, to make bank on his name, and everything just went haywire. But he kept going. He got up, he tried again, he kept going. He still continues to keep going. He even was on, I don't know, what was it, WWE? As a wrestler or something like that. I'm not even sure, but he had the popular vote even back in the fucking 80s because of that shit.
George H.W. Bush wanted him to be vice president.
Yeah.
But
everybody likes it. Well, everybody respects the fact that he could just get up and keep going. I love that too. That's great. But
so basically, they're believing his own. They're believing his own public image rather than actual fact.
This is going to probably piss people off, but I personally feel like Trump is actually the embodiment of the human American dream.
Yes, because my American dream was to be born with a rich dad.
And that's why people voted for him.
He was not the embodiment. He's the embodiment of.
So if I call him dad, will he give me $1 million to start up my own business?
God, I hope so.
I mean, that's the thing. He was a rich guy who's okay. His father gave him a small stipend of $1 million. How many of you had fathers who? I mean, that's the thing. He didn't get where he was by the bootstraps. He got where he was because he's a rich dad.
No, but he still keeps going. He still gets up and keeps going after he ruins everything and, just loses all the money that he was given.
I don't think that's hubris. I think
no. If you look at it from a poor person's point of view,
he's too stupid to understand that he failed.
Right, but if you look at it from a poor person point of view, right? I have $500 to pay all my bills and make grocery shopping, and maybe I have $10 left over to just do whatever the hell I want to do. But I can't do very much, right? But then I look at somebody like Trump who continues moving even though he just loses millions and millions of dollars, and that $10 that I have left doesn't look very bad.
Well, I look at it from but I look at it from the opposite point of view, where he has enough money he can just piss away like that. Oh yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, I also see it from that point of view. Don't get me wrong.
Let's burn his. Let's do the old
setting it on fire to light your cigar.
The old burn down.
I remember cigars. That was the Clinton administration.
No, it's the old burn his wife and rape his home.
I'm just saying that's how I think. The reason why people who aren't necessarily financially gifted tend to vote for him.
But I'm just saying, I think they believe the bullshit a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do respect that about Trump. That he just keeps up and keeps going. He literally doesn't give a fuck. That is something to be admired.
So, Danamon, can we expect your vote for me in about 16 years then?
16? Really?
Well, probably. I mean,
why 16 years? That's
I'm only 24. Yeah, I'm only 24, and you have to be over 35. So
Well, first I get my 2 terms, then you can run.
But I mean, really, if you want someone who
Well, how
never
about you
gives
just
up,
vote both on the ballot together?
if you want someone who never gives up, regardless of like whatever's happening, then really, at least I'm smart enough to acknowledge that I fail at everything and refuse to give up. Trump lives in his own little world. He's probably like, the birds are singing.
Well, here's my question. If you and Jim were to run together on the ballot, would you be president a la Trump? And would Jim be more like Mike Pence, the real power behind the throne?
No, I'd have to be the face because I'm the only one loud and obnoxious enough.
Oh.
He
Yeah,
wouldn't be the
Well,
power
there you go,
behind it.
Elliot.
I just have him sitting there, shitting in his Cocoa Puffs.
yes, and then I'd be like, okay, Jim.
That would be his job as vice president. He would go in front of the full session of the Senate and just keep shitting in breakfast cereal just to fuck with them.
Well, see, that's what you'd think, but I'd be like, okay, Jim, here's some things to play with. Okay, now it's my turn.
Some things to play with. Is it the shiny red button? Beep, 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 everything.
And before we give Jim a big old button that's just really cool looking but does nothing.
Yeah, that's you nuked them. It's just really subtle nukes. Don't worry.
Sorry, Mr. President, we just can't trust you.
Well, I still think that what Pence does is every day he drops Trump's phone off. Okay, here you go, Donnie. Here you go, Donnie. Tweet.
I like to imagine there's coloring books included.
Well, but how often he tweets? He's basically Pence just drops off his phone. Okay, Donnie.
Oh,
here
I
you
know.
go. No, without
coloring books. Coloring books are fun.
with Trump, it was coloring books. He actually did become
Oh.
some sort of weird painter. So anyway,
In his underdog status, they found the candidate with whom they identified. Trump's constant positioning of his candidacy as counter to the Republican Party's desires, and even his unvarnished struggle with factual accuracy on the campaign trail, affirmed him as the candidate of last chances and won him a legion of loyalists among Americans facing their own second or even last chance in life.
Well, like I said, the poor people.
One of my British friends, Sty, said that Trump's campaign reminded him so much of a satire on American politics.
Oh,
it really does. I mean,
okay. Well, it's really hard to write satire.
I could write really quick. I could write you a story about a guy who can't get anything right, but has charisma or whatever. It gets this looks like an episode of The Thick of It or something. This looks like a television show.
Hold on one second. Okay, so satire is very, very hard to pull off. Okay, we have a long history with it in the world, and I tell you what, Swift did it best with A Modest Proposal. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
I love that one.
Yeah, people took it seriously.
But I'm just saying. I mean, this
satire is really hard to pull off.
If I told you a plot that revolved around a former reality star, in businessman who says idiotic things and has trouble with facts, and yet people don't mind that he has trouble with facts because they like his underdog status and they get him into the presidency. Great idea for a script, dude. No, that actually happened. What?
Prior to Trump being actually, made president, that would have been a very good example of satire because honestly, at that point in time, you would not have been able to tell whether or not it was true or false. And that's what makes satire great.
And that's why Sty said it feels like we're living in basically a television show about American politics, which it does. Wait,
that is actually a great reason to just be happy he's president because it feels like we're living in a TV show.
Oh God, it's so unreal.
It's the sequel to the Truman Show.
Oh, give me 16 more hits of LSD. This is great.
We're all on candid camera the entire time.
No, well,
Cam.
fuck.
You never
Hi,
know
Cameron.
with the NSA looking at us.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm reminded of those Tumblr posts where, do you think that you get an FBI agent assigned to you the minute you're born? And they just keep going with you throughout all your various internet incarnations.
See, I could believe a conspiracy theory that basically says our reality is being altered by the NSA for their own amusement.
Yes, I'd absolutely vote for Donald Trump again, Millet68 says. But here again, like Reagan, I'm going to keep his feet to the fire. Long as he's trying, as long as he makes sure he has our back, well, then he has my support.
Keep
I'm gonna
Reagan's
keep
feet to the fire. They actually had his in school. They actually had his opening statement, his like presidential address when he first got elected, as a test thing you had to read, and it was hilarious because he talked about how he was going to limit government and small government. By the end of his year, by the end of his tenure in office, it was bigger than it ever had been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep his feet to the fire.
Yep.
Good job.
From Bristol, Wisconsin. Julie Bales did not decide she would vote for Donald Trump until she walked in the voting booth on November 8th, 2016. The 44-year-old mother of 7 took issues with
God
Trump.
damn, girl. It's called getting your fucking tubes tied.
Don't shame people for having too many kids.
I want to. Why? Fucking.
Look, okay, if it's below the number 10, it's okay.
No, if it's below 0, it's okay.
No, okay.
If it's negative kids, if you go out there and like abort people against their will, then it's fine.
It's a post-emptive abortion, but in all seriousness, it's fine to raise your own personal army.
I deliberately chose to have 2 children on purpose. Both my kids were planned. And then I deliberately chose to get my ass snipped because, oh my fucking God, I do not want to have any more. Okay, but that was because, honest to God, even though I loved having kids, I don't want to go through that shit again. Pregnancy is fucking awful.
I'm not ready for kids, but even when I have kids, I will still make anti-kid jokes.
Well, I really do hope that you eventually have one little monster, Elliot, because I think that would be fucking awesome.
And my kids will.
Your kid gnawing off your arm, Elliot.
Yes,
like, ah!
And my kids will understand
At the age of 27, he just starts eating your arm.
And my kids will
lay off the bath salts. Lay off the bath salts.
And they will
comes home and he
understand
just
the
murders you
jokes
flat out, but hits you with a hatchet in the head, and then you have one final moment to log onto YouTube and say, "I'm dying, but this was awesome."
Yes, and they will understand the anti-kid jokes because they're me.
That's okay. You don't have to like children. It's fine.
No.
I know a lot of people who don't.
I'm not saying I don't like children. Like I said, I'm not saying no to kids. I'm just saying when I have kids, I will still keep the kid jokes.
Oh, of course, yes. I do all the time. I threaten to throw my children into a sack and toss them in the river. Constantly.
Yes, and Joseph and I were talking the other day, and basically about kids, and I was like, but could you imagine a little me?
That is the scariest thing ever, isn't it?
Yes, they'd be like me, but because Joseph's as crazy as I am, just she can hide it a lot better than I can. So they'd be like me, but just better at hiding.
Well, that's what makes them you, though, and that way makes them great. Because, I'd like to see a little you eventually one day. That would be horrible, but great.
Yeah,
There's our president. There's our president.
The 44-year-old mother of 7 took issue with Trump's coarse language and boorish behavior on the campaign trail and found both incompatible with the commands of her own Christian faith.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I just didn't like his voice.
There we go. That's good enough. It was the hardest decision I think I've had to make as an adult in any voting process, Bale says. It was too difficult. And I think the reason it was so difficult is because I don't take it lightly. This is important. This is our country. This is my 7 children's future.
Yes, and all your 7 children will either turn out to be serial killers, trailer trash, or meth heads.
Well, in Pennsylvania, there's actually a rule on taxes or something. I'm not sure if it's statewide or nationwide, but you can't claim the earned income tax credit for children past a certain amount of kids.
Yay. And I don't take back my statement.
Oh, no, I literally know people who have had the maximum amount of children and then stopped having children because they could no longer claim a benefit for them. These are welfare monkeys. These are the people that Trump supporters fucking hate.
And yet, a lot of them are Trump supporters, oddly enough.
Right? It's so fucking stupid.
I don't want handouts, but I'm willing to take handouts.
Mm-hmm.
How did a thrice married playmate courting a religious New York billionaire become the leader of an evangelical political crusade? He punched back, and he offered a transaction. In exchange for Christian conservative support, he vowed to defeat the enemies of religious liberty. Ultimately, they saw him as a warrior for religious freedom.
Well,
religious freedom means discriminating against people.
Right, but ERB said something about that. Epic Rap Battles of History. They said it's a country, not a company, in the one rap. And
but
I think that's how they
owned by corporations so long, you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
As Jello Biafra said, we are the people by corporations for corporations.
Mm-hmm. Bales and her
get for dealing with capitalism.
Bales and her husband Donnie, along with 2 of their adult children, could easily have stayed home on election day when faced with their 2 choices. Instead, they were part of a political tipping point in Wisconsin, a state in which 22% of the adult population is affiliated with an evangelical Protestant and 71% overall identify as Christian.
No, Elliot, that woman has 2 adult children. She has 7 children altogether. That means that she's had 7 children over the course of at least 20 years.
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
I still think 7 children.
Not that bad.
Yes, it is, because she's contributing to more humans.
She had time to think about that, so don't, hate on that.
They're breathing and they're talking and they're asking me questions.
Funny, all that anxiety and all that praying, Bales says, and it turns out I like him now much more than I did when I voted for him.
Well, you're a Christian, so what does that say about your mental health?
Now, this picture looks familiar. I know that face from somewhere. I think I do anyway.
I don't know the article, so I can't say.
Screen share, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I am screen sharing.
Oh.
I'm not seeing it.
You're not seeing it. It should be up when I'm talking.
It says screen sharing isn't supported in audio-only mode.
It's not supported?
At least not in audio-only mode. I probably have to put on my video, but I am not doing that.
No, it should be sharing.
Okay, then I don't know what the fuck. But it's from Wilkes-Barre, PA, which, okay. Ed Harry is sitting in a booth at the back end of Dee's Diner in Plains Township, Luzerne County. Up front, the place is filled with customers at a chrome lunch counter as waitresses busily fill coffee cups, take orders, and greet regulars with a familiar "the usual." Yeah. For most of his life, Harry has done 2 things: voted Democrat and lead a union of workers. A Vietnam veteran, he became a Democrat as a teenager and found his calling in unions when he took a job as a custodian at a state mental institution. Weird thing here. Ed Harry, if you somehow stumble across this and weren't pissed off and left, please let me know if that particular state mental institution was Mayview State Mental Institution, circa 88, 89. I might have bumped into you while I was collecting cans. As
I
an
see.
inpatient, that is, when I was a kid.
I see the picture now, and I don't think it looks any more familiar than any other Pittsburghian, if you will.
Well, his facial features just sort of rang a bell.
He looks very stereotypical Pennsylvanian. Only he's not wearing a plaid shirt.
Why wasn't there a memorial for Killjoy in Pittsburgh? That's what I want to know. City father should be fucking hung.
Harry helped campaign to turn public sector families into union families. Turns out I was good at persuasion, he deadpans.
I was too good at persuasion. They
That's such a
they took away the
sentence.
thumb screws.
That's such a great sentence. I was too good at
And
persuasion.
he was from Nam, so, dumb becoming a contract negotiator. When he retired after 25 years, he was president of the Wilkes-Barre Labor Council. But he says when the establishment Democrats stopped caring about his people, he stopped caring about them. Many working class voters like Harry, 71, have been portrayed as anxious, frustrated, angry, and desperate.
Wait, but the Democrats haven't cared about the people since about 1972.
Yeah, I know. But my survey revealed a more complicated picture. The archetypical red-blooded, blue-collar Trump voter has worked an hourly wage or physical labor job after the age of 21 and experienced a job loss personally or in their immediate family in the last 7 years. But a full 84% were actually optimistic about their future career path or financial situation, regardless of how they felt about their community's prospects as a whole.
Oh, there you go. If you're optimistic, there's something wrong with you.
The inherent optimism is a key nuance missed by most analysts. It's a sentiment that perfectly matched Trump's positive, forward-looking slogan, "Make America Great Again."
Was America ever great?
It was great back when I was younger and fucking sold drugs.
I think are great at various points in history, but not the ones that our current politicians decide that should be,
I think we were great.
spotlighted.
I think we were great when the Indians had the thing because the Indians were much cooler.
We went to war with each other over petty shit. It was great.
Yes.
Wait, you mean before the Indians, or shall I say Native Americans, hated us wholesale?
I'd say Indians because Native Americans is fucking patronizing. And don't take my word for it. Take
Oh
the
no,
word
I'm
of
just
my
saying.
Indian
I
friend
have
Eddie.
known a few Native American / Indian, whatever the fuck you want to call them, people who were part of a tribe who lived here beforehand, and those people just hate white people wholesale. They do not pull their punches. They just absolutely fucking hate us.
Jenny Thompson, if you're listening out there, email me and tell me how much you hate white people.
My party, the party that was supposed to be the party of the working guy, the guy I stood up for and worked for all my career, was no longer part of this new ascending Democratic coalition. Blue-collar America essentially had the door shut in its face.
So you went and voted for someone who isn't a blue-collar guy by any stretch of the imagination.
Well,
good job, genius.
Fair, neither of the choices were.
But I'm just saying. I mean, if you want to vote for a blue-collar guy, fine. Vote for fucking Vermin Supreme, but,
Oh, yes, let's all vote for Vermin.
He's not evil enough, though.
Oh, but come on, he's awesome. Everybody gets a pony.
I want a pony.
Kenosha, Wisconsin. Amy Marr is a very striking woman. Her blonde hair cut short in the kind of dramatic fashion you'd see on the pages of Vogue or on a Paris runway.
That's the I want to see your manager haircut.
Yes, it is. Sitting in the conference room of TG3 Electronics, Chief Financial Officer Marr is both in command and at ease, surrounded by the keyboards her company manufactures. Marr, 43, is the married, educated suburban mom who experts missed in the 2016 election, and they still don't get today. As a gun owner and strong defender of the Second Amendment, she based her vote entirely on the Supreme Court vacancy and who would fill it.
I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. America has the right to arm bears. Roar.
I think we should extend.
But preferably with shoulder-mounted lasers like the Predator.
Oh,
say
yes.
that we should fucking
shoulder-mounted rocket launchers.
Yes.
remove the damn ban on full autos. God damn.
You have like
If the government fucks up so bad that we need to revolt, it would be really cool just to go prap.
No, Jim. Send bears to do your work for you.
Bears are fucking horrible. Ugh.
Bears
Yes,
with
they are.
shoulder-mounted rocket launchers.
And 9 heads.
And 9 heads. I told
They
you.
don't
about
need
the-
9 heads. They have 2 claws, a bite, and a fucking laser weapon.
Yeah,
The fuck
right. They
more
don't
do they
need.
need?
I don't know if I ever told Dan about, but I told Jim when they were talking about building the wall and they were talking about coyotes. I had
Oh,
2
God.
images
Wait.
of
Which kind of coyote?
people who.
The people smuggling kind. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I had 2 images of coyotes. One was they put the people in their mouth and they just walk across the wall. The other is the coyotes build a fucking catapult like the fucking Roadrunner cartoon
Oh yes, like Wiley.
and throw fucking Mexicans
Yes.
over the wall.
Yes. Oh, I could totally get behind that.
Someone needs to make that into a cartoon or something.
Right?
Or like I said, the fucking but they can only take so much of you, so they like carve pieces off and throw it over the wall.
Well, you're in America now.
Yes, you're just dead. Splat.
The Clinton campaign tried hard to win over voters like Marr with ads highlighting Trump's most misogynistic remarks, casting him as an unhinged troglodyte no self-respecting woman could support.
Well,
Whatever
Yet they
you want
did.
to be grabbed in the pussy. It just depends upon.
Well, some women did support Trump, so it's not a big deal.
They believed, I think, that the social pressure from either friends or professional peers would be too much, that we would cave because of his behavior. Well, they misunderstood where the emphasis of our vote was. They thought feminist, right? Successful, kids in the home, married, college educated. Oh, they cannot vote for Trump. They just cannot. She smiles broadly. They were wrong. I think that's worth noting. Whenever you tell someone they can't do something, they'll do it just to spite you.
oh, and a lot
Well,
of things.
just to support that humanity is basically just a bunch of teenagers.
This reminds me of the whole Clinton impeachment thing, where the Republicans are trying to, get Clinton impeached because he had a blowjob, and yet all of his supporters were like, "Well, yeah, but what does that have to do with his?" Granted, his policies were fucked, but people didn't really understand that. What does that have to do with
Look,
his?
okay, I'll tell you what. Here's what I thought about the whole Clinton thing. Okay, when I was a kid, my parents were divorcing, and Clinton was getting impeached at the same time. And I remember thinking that my mom was getting divorced by my dad because of the same goddamn reason. She cheated on him, and Clinton cheated on his wife, and that's why people wanted to impeach him. And I remember thinking, what the fuck's so wrong with that? It's just a person thing. It's what everybody does at one point or another.
But I mean, but that's the thing. So people can't divorce the person. I mean, I'm listening to a band
How
right
can
now.
how can America divorce a president for doing something that we don't consider a crime?
I'm listening to a band right now. No, what I'm saying is people can't divorce the personality from the politics or the music or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
listening to a band right now that is openly Nazi. They're openly. I mean, it's not a coded thing. They're openly Nazi, and yet I like the band, and I'm not a Nazi because I could divorce their beliefs from the music.
Well, yeah, you can totally suspend that.
That's my thing. People, rather than focusing on Trump's policies, they focus on, him being pissed on by a Russian hooker, or God forbid, how he eats a goddamn steak.
Oh, that's great.
That still haunts my nightmares so many years later, because I had to hear for 3 days about how he eats a steak.
No, my point is though is here if we have a president who, oh God forbid, acts like an actual human being and does something that is considered bad as per societal norm, then why the hell are we hating on him?
Yes, but how does he eat a steak? Those are the questions America wants to know. Apparently,
I'd like
Well,
to think that Trump eats with his mouth closed, but I do not think he does.
and it was
I
it was
don't
not
give
him
a
like
shit.
putting ketchup on it. But it's 3 days of it, people.
He could devour babies, and I'd still have absolutely no change in opinion of him. Not because it's low, but because it's so rusted neutral that, like, it's just yet another president. We're gonna live through it.
Yeah,
Let's see
he's just a
what
fucking
happens.
human being, God's sake.
I mean,
Maybe maybe the roulette wheel will finally spin and land somewhere like on black, so that way I can at least double my money.
I mean, he annoys
I'd
the
like
hell
to
out
at
of me,
least
but
do that.
it's more his voice than anything else.
You know, or hell, if it lands on the third column, that would be great too.
I think I'd rather listen to you, Elliot, than I would to Trump.
Or the flesh column.
The flesh column, yes. Women were the group most likely to bail on Trump after it was revealed 1 month before the election that he had crudely boasted of sexual exploits on the Access Hollywood tape. Grab
I'll
him in the
take
pussy.
obvious things for
My whole
100,
thing, my
Alex.
whole thing about that was it was. I mean, I've heard worse shared by frat buddies and people. It's like it was just frat buddy talk. Yeah, it was idiotic, but I've heard worse.
You see,
Yeah,
there was
but
this
okay,
one
this
time
is.
I was partying at Dave's house, and I was fucking lit. And this chick, bought extra booze and fed it to me. And she started, flirting with me, and like we ended up fucking. And I remember I was just like, "Yes, mistress, yes, mistress, yes, mistress," the whole fucking time. And after we fucked, I passed out drunk. Then I
Well,
woke
I
up.
hope
She
you
stole
enjoyed
my
yourself.
pants,
Oh.
and it
Um,
had my wallet in it, which I was glad to eventually get my wallet back. And the funny thing was, whenever it was found out that she was the one that stole it, you know, Dave sent out some co-cores to beat the living piss out of her.
Oh.
Well, she stole my fucking pants and wallet. You don't fuck with the dealer's buddy. I mean, that's how that works. You should know better than to steal from Jim, because Jim's the man. I don't know why I was the man. I just was. I don't understand it myself.
he was the man. Now he's just some sort of reanimated zombie piece of human refuse.
Yep.
Pretty much. Which is why the issue of gun ownership among women was critical. According to my survey, female Rust Belt Trump voters under the age of 45 are the demographic most likely to agree with the idea that every American has a fundamental right to self-defense.
Yeah, because we were raised in the internet era and we all know how much
And
we
yet
want
the
to
funny
kill
thing is,
everyone.
the few gun rights that Obama actually mentioned actually expanded gun rights, and Trump, at least his cabinet is looking at restricting them. So it's just kind of funny how no one is coming after your guns, people. It's not going to happen. Okay,
It better
stop
not happen,
worrying.
because the moment they start doing it, there's going to be a lot of people shot in the head, and then like
Yeah.
the fucking military is going to be like, well, we can't fire on our own. So they're going to a lot of them are going to start siding with the civilians, and then the civilians will now have tanks on their sides driving down fucking
Oh no! What do you
into
mean
the
the
fucking
military's not?
Capitol.
Yeah.
What do you mean the military can't decide they're going to fire on their own? Were you actually paying attention to the LA riots?
Yes, I was. That's a different situation.
It's going to be the same situation though, where the tank, where it basically, why you need an AR-15 to defend against a burglar, I'll never understand. But hey, if you
I
want one, go
wonder.
ahead.
Oh no, here's personally, I wonder, and I hear this all the time from Eric. He talks about these people who get all super upset when the cops pull them over for patrolling outside of an elementary school with an AR-14 or 15, excuse me. And what? I'm just exercising my freedom of speech here. It's just a Second Amendment, blah blah blah, and all that bullshit.
I mean, Part of
People
me
are
wants everyone to
stupid.
have nukes, and the other part of me goes, okay, why do you need an AR-15 to basically to defend yourself? An AR-15 is
Mhm.
not a defensive weapon. That's an offensive weapon.
Yeah, you totally use
That's
that to kill other people.
that's an assault rifle. This is not Grandpa's shotgun. I
I
mean,
think it's perfectly valid. Like I
yes,
said, I think we should lift a ban on fucking full autos. Fuck it.
yes, but that's you, and you have an interesting way of thinking. I'm actually trying to think practically here.
Fuck your practicality, because that's impractical as
Well,
shit.
all right. Look, here's my argument.
If
Okay,
I am actually wrong and the fucking military does start firing on its own, we're going to need a good way of performing some good guerrilla warfare. And we could get a lot more fucking heads caved in with someone's shitty ass aim in the civilian population if they can just let loose more rounds.
Yeah,
okay.
but
Well,
the soon the jets fly over your head, full autos ain't gonna mean a whole lot of shit.
Well,
my
that's when you just go
concern. Okay.
underground. You've got an entire sewer network we can live in.
So you know what?
Oh,
I want. You know what? That's it. I officially want Trump to start taking Americans' guns because that's gonna be awesome.
oh, that would be hilarious to see all the butthurt reactions. But no, look, my personal problem is that these people who claim that they get arrested by the cops for patrolling around elementary schools with AR-15s are doing that of their own free will and not actually invited to do so by the school itself, which is problem one. And problem two is that they automatically think I have the right to do this, even though patrolling in public with a assault rifle is not necessarily going to go over well with everybody, including your local police officers.
Yeah.
Not to mention the
Vigilante.
fact that like 5% of America is fucking mentally ill. So
5%. I think it's more about ninety
yeah, it
percent.
might be more, but
But
you know.
I
I
mean,
think it's just 5% are somewhat sane and the rest are fucking loons.
uh, yes, vigilante justice has always sort of been a problem in like polite society, which I don't
Fuck
understand.
polite
'Cause
society.
start the militia movements, Jim.
Polite society is nothing more than low down, double dealing, backstabbing, larcenous, perverted worms, giving the air that their shit don't stink because they act all prim and proper, doing everything that fucking polite society does. Yet they just fucking murder each other to get ahead because they're fucking vacuous fucking social climbers.
Yes, and had I the ability to act, I would be a member just so I could be as corrupt and evil as possible.
Okay, well, I just looked it up. The prevalence of mental illness in America by the National Alliance on Mental Illness is that 1 in 5 people in the U.S., that is 18.5%, has experienced mental illness in
But I'm
any
just
year.
saying, I mean, there are. I just think, like I said, people. I needed. I mean, I needed an assault rifle to defend against a burglar. It's like, okay, you realize if you just took out like a small shot, small gun and cocked it, most burglars would go, "Oh shit, bye."
And run away, yes. Now, I'm not trying to hate on people who are mentally ill because I personally have actually been diagnosed as such, and I know Jim has, and probably most of us have. Like 1 in 4 Americans are diagnosed with some sort of
Sociopath.
mental illness. Yeah. So it's
I've been
not a big
diagnosed.
deal. It's the amount of disillusion that you experience while you're having your episodes that makes you a threat.
How awesome is that?
Shut up,
Everyone on
Jim.
this show is mentally ill.
Oh, yes.
Good. That's what makes us.
In a way, anyway.
Got a couple guns in my office, Mara says over firearms. It's smart. It's empowering. It reminds me that I'm in charge and can take care of myself and my family at all times. I actually conceal carry because where I work, well, it's a dangerous area.
That
One of
that just that's. I was about to say, and if the unions give me any shit,
Let
yeah,
Jim finish.
I think that's the best feminist statement there. I can take care of myself. Click, click. I'm gonna fucking put a bullet between your head if you don't start turning tail, motherfucker.
I do like this last
oh
sentence.
god,
One of the things I think Democrats did not understand about women and guns is that empowerment that gun gives you. Yep. That's awesome. That's
Okay,
what we
well,
say empowering.
I have literally just admitted that I am mentally ill, so give me a gun.
Yes.
I'm mentally ill and blind. Give me a gun.
Oh, hell yes. Of course, Elliot. We'll totally give you a gun. You're not the problem. Me and Jim can get you a gun, but
I am the problem. I have murderous tendencies that need to be fucking keep that guy away from any sharp objects.
I don't know.
Now,
If
how
it,
many
if it comes down to that,
How many articles have we gone over here where college students want to ban the First Amendment because my feelings?
Yes, a lot of them.
I don't think they understand fully what that believes. So, I mean,
No, they don't understand, but they still want it because, oh my God, my feelings hurt.
I want to ban the First Amendment just to watch the reaction. I would be the
No,
worst. I would be literally the worst president or the best, because I would take away the guns just to see another civil war. I would ban freedom of speech just to see the reaction.
these kids are literally just saying, I want you to stop people from saying shit that makes me upset because it makes me upset and I can still say what I want.
I would
which is
literally be a
stupid.
I would literally be a tyrant just for, as TV Trump says, for the evils. Just like just because I want to see Jim leading an underground army because I tried to take away their guns and the military fired on their own.
Oh, that would be fun.
It would just be like, life is good. Jim, please
Until
don't
you get
assassinate.
killed.
And well, yeah, but Jim wouldn't kill me because he knows I'm just doing it for fun.
Well, I'm not saying Jim would. I'm just saying until you get killed.
Yes, and Jenny has emailed, oh yes, death to the white people, which is why which is why I'm watching her show.
Look, I'm sorry, but every fucking Native American person I ever met has had a goddamn hard on to hate me.
Well, yeah. And by the way, she hates being called Native American.
Well,
She
either
actually
one.
gave me a whole. She actually gave me a whole.
Would you prefer being called a wild Indian? Because I could do that.
Yes, or just Indian.
I am Kentuckian. You do recall, I do have the Kentuckian spirit in me.
Jim, should I give her the history lesson or?
No, because
I'm just saying.
Back on topic here. Why the fuck Trump was elected is because people are pissed off that we got a bunch of whiny little brats screaming, please take away the First Amendment.
Well, Christ, I guess I better start talking to my Kentuckian accent.
And even though this happened in another country, it's just across the fucking pond, thousands march in free speech protests led by quote-unquote right-wing figures.
I mean, they have it's. We need a Brit for this, but okay.
Thousands marched through London under the banner of free speech on Sunday after Tommy Robinson, a former leader of a far-right English Defence League, was permanently banned on Twitter.
Okay, but okay. The thing about free speech is it misses something vital. This is free speech with the government. It does not mean that the government will interfere. If Twitter doesn't like what you're saying, Twitter has all the fucking power to ban you. This is the free enterprise system that right wingers love so much, and then when it fucking backfires on them, they hate it. No, okay. This is a corporation deciding what it wants and what it doesn't want. If you can't, I may not like it, but you know what? It's the way it is. If you don't like it, start your own corporation.
Yes, but it's just nice to see people actually get pissed off. I like watching people pissed off.
And they march, big deal.
Protesters flying national flags and holding placards decrying limits to free speech expression rallied at Whitehall after marching through central London from Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, a location seen as emblematic of free speech that has been the scene of several recent far-right rallies.
I mean, Twitter banning someone is perfectly justified. If Twitter doesn't like it, they don't have to have you on their fucking network. It's not your thing. It's their thing.
It's a catalyst, motherfucker. Okay, it's not the only thing.
If you talk to most of these EDL people, they don't understand. Let's put it that way. They're very
Yes,
short-sighted.
but there was more than EDL there. They're just trying to. It's a fucking paper. Are you unfamiliar with the way people try to spin everything to make their shit not stink? Are you that fucking brain dead that you forget that the right does it, the left does it, everyone fucking does it, and they lead into these articles every
We need a bridge for this because you don't know the whole.
Come back and the second coming.
Listen. We need a bridge for this because you're not getting the whole story. We need a bridge for this because there are a lot of parts that you're missing with regards to the far right and freedom of speech and stuff. They are very short-sighted in this thing.
Yes, I understand they're short-sighted in this thing. But let me get through the fucking article. You sit here and keep complaining about one thing, showing your short-sightedness, and waiting until we get to some other shit here. That's what you need to do.
It's pathetic, to be honest. I mean, I'm just trying to give you a little piece of history, and if you're not going to listen, then it's. I'm just telling you that a lot of the free speech things are people who don't get the point. I mean, you know, I fucking know what he wants me to say.
Yeah. Jim's left the group. That's unusual.
I don't know what the fuck he wants me to say. I'm just trying to explain to him that, look, things don't. We need a bridge for this because he doesn't know the whole story. He thinks he knows, but he just I don't know what the fuck.
No, it's okay. Not all of us can handle things, and it's fine. And sometimes we enter situations that aren't where we aren't.
I've read the article. I understand what it is. What I don't understand is why he has to be so fucking ranty and like, it's like, just let me finish. All I'm saying is, I think we need a Brit on this to fucking give it some historical context. I want historical context with this because this is nothing new.
Jim,
as far as the free speech protests are, and most of them don't understand that. Let's put it this way: a lot of people want the British government to act in a way that basically tells Twitter what to do, which is hypocritical to their own ideology, which I think is hilarious. That's all I was trying to say.
Let me put it this way. There are two types of people when you come to free speech. There are the people who take it literally, which means based on the actual wordage of everything is that you have the right to bear arms within a militia, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Second Amendment bullcrap. And then there are the people who just think that it means that you can just own whatever the fuck gun you want.
Yeah, I wasn't contradicting. I mean, I think Twitter suspending that guy was idiotic, and I like that people are finally standing up for it. What I was trying to say was basically
Twitter is a private website, and Twitter can do whatever the hell Twitter wants to do because that's how they roll.
Yes, that's true, but the whole thing is there's more to it, and we haven't gotten to that part of the fucking article yet. We're just in the lead up where they always do the same thing. We're used to it by now because everyone does it left, right. They just keep fucking trying to show you, well, this is the shit that's fucked up, but then we have to also mention this shit. But then, it's still fucked up. It goes in.
No, I was just trying to sort of give a little historical context here. I wasn't trying to step on anyone's toes or anything.
Yeah, but you just kept going with it instead of getting to the meat.
I want meat.
Robinson called for the demonstration last week in response to Twitter's decision to ban him for hateful conduct. I think I forgot sharing because this whole thing got fucked up. There we go. I got back to sharing. He had several prominent right-wing figures address the 2,000 to 3,000 attendees. Robinson told the crowd, "We couldn't have done this 3 years ago. We couldn't have done this 4 years ago. We are now mainstream."
No. They're still pretty. There's.
That party is still mainstream. Is still fucking not mainstream. Yeah, but
Do you remember? Well, I don't know if you knew about this, but do you know when UKIP, the United Kingdom Independence Party, was actually gaining traction and people were shitting their pants because not quite the BNP, but a pretty far right organization might actually get some votes. And then they got shat on in the 2014 or 2015 election and they just died. I think that's what we're heading to here is where something like this might get mainstream for a couple of years and then the sort of the mainstream establishment will shit their pants and oh my god, and then get nothing, no votes.
There we go. Other speakers included the leader of UKIP, Jared Batten, the Vice magazine co-founder, Gavin McInnes.
Vice magazine?
Yeah. The YouTube personality, Sargon of Akkad. Why the fuck are you even mentioning him?
Why are you even there, sir, Carl Benjamin?
Because it's a free speech rally. That's all.
It seems to me he likes to jump on any sort of boat. First he was left, now he's right, now he's left, now he's
Anne-Marie Waters of the Political Party for Britain and the former Breitbart senior editor Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh, God.
Lines of police with riot vans separated the protesters from several hundred counter-protesters demonstrating against what they saw as a far-right movement. So far, you're not convincing me that everyone was actually on the far right. It's just a couple swingers and a couple writers and someone just trying to like make a name for themselves.
EDL and UKIP are sort of moderate to far right. Well, EDL is far right. UKIP is sort of BNP for people who aren't that far right but are still pretty damn right wing. And Sargon jumps both sides of the fence to the point where I'm surprised he hasn't fucking gotten ass splinters. And Milo, I don't even know what he is.
He's something.
It's hard to take him seriously.
So I just love how they keep bringing up these people like, oh my God, it's doom and gloom. And they're just random morons from the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's but of course it's an internet, it's an internet themed protest. So of course they would do that. What I think would have been more effective is if they actually had like actual public people speaking.
As the crowds swelled by support from the Democratic Football Lads Alliance.
That's like soccer for you guys who.
Yeah, but is that a football hooligan?
Sort of. It's from what I know, and I don't know all that, which is why I said I think we need a British voice here. But it's too late for that because it's 4 a.m. I think they're like as organized hooligans, not like your average. I'm
getting drunk and rioting type, just woohoo.
Yeah, more organized than that. Which I like football hooligans; they're fun.
An umbrella group for football ultras turned from Piccadilly into Whitehall. They chanted Robinson's name. Paul Stevenson, 42, from Harrow, said he was marching to protect freedom of speech.
What I want to know about these freedom of speech guys is what would happen if they banned a left-leaning person from Twitter. And yes, I already know the answer. That's why I love the double standard. Of it's someone actually thought I was pro-Trump because I wrote a status saying left wing blocks right wing from Twitter or on Twitter. Fucking posers, can't take it. Trump blocks left leaning person from Twitter. He's getting rid of the trolls, and someone mistook that to be a Trump supporting tweet.
Nah.
Well, to be fair,
all around, unless you're purely like, I don't give a shit. I want to hear it all.
Yeah,
I got blunt.
That way I could shit on everyone.
I got blocked by a Trump supporter for trying to set them straight about some sort of pedophilia crap with the APA earlier.
I get blocked by Trump supporters by telling them not all gays are pedophiles.
No, this was the APA was falsely accused of saying that pedophilia was a sexual deviancy, that it was normal, that everybody likes it, that blah blah blah. And it's like, no, dude, do some goddamn research. Turns out it was part of a defunct British fucking pedophile network.
Yep, they spread false rumors.
And I tried to tell that to the person, and they were just like, okay, yeah, you're blocked because you obviously don't hate pedophiles because, oh God, look at me here. I'm trying to actually hate on pedophiles, but I can't.
I hate
don't know.
genophiles. People who... Oh God.
It's the protest against all the censorship that's going on, political correctness, cultural Marxism, and attacks on the white Christian culture, not just in this country, but across Europe, he added.
Oh God, the white Christian culture, which is the dominant culture everywhere. I mean, part of me wants to see it taken down just to see what comes after.
Numbers dwindled throughout the lengthy Whitehall March, while the atmosphere was unthreatening. In his rally speech, Robinson said, "The people of this country have been silenced for 20 to 30 years with the tag of racists. They have managed to silence people so that they are too scared to speak up when they see things that are wrong. They now realize that the tag is dead. No one cares anymore with being labeled racists."
Which is...
I kind of have to agree with that. How many times have we been declared racist just for, saying let the Nazis speak so we can shit on them?
About 3 times a day?
Yeah. And we even tell them why we want them to speak. But they're like, no, just letting them speak at all is racist, so you're racist. It's like, you don't know how to win these debates then.
Yes. You actually want them to, air their sides, not just, silence them, because you're not going to know what they, if you try to straw man it.
Mm-hmm. And that's all you can do if you don't know what the fuck they say, and you're dealing with old data because things mutate and morph over time.
I mean, that was me when I was an atheist before I read the Bible. I tried to straw man Christianity, and then I realized I didn't actually know what I was talking about. So I read the Bible and basically found out that, oh yeah, I was right about things, but I was also dead wrong. Like Jesus commanded someone to steal a horse.
Yay, he stole a horse.
And then he ate it.
Yiannopoulos told the crowd, "Truth and righteousness are behind you. You are the vanguard. You are the dark knights." NIGHTS. Okay, I like that. I am the dark knight, the bleakest of black, encompassing all light.
Yes, I'm not Batman. I'm literally a dark knight.
The first men and women to proudly stand with your heads above the parapet, caring nothing for the bullets that come your way, and I salute you.
Says the rich guy who, yeah.
Yeah, I've been shot at, or at least I think I was shot at. I was on a lot of drugs at the time, so maybe I wasn't.
It's called...
But I definitely thought I was.
I got shot at once.
I yelled at someone, and then their reply was, "Oh shit, there's cameras."
I got shot at once. We were exploring the Manson caves, which, if you ever come out here, is something we have to show you. The Manson caves.
I saw what happened when Nick Griffin went on Question Time in America. When genuine racists appeared on television. When those people are exposed to the harsh light of day, I believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Nick Griffin is I don't know if he's still the leader, but he was the leader of the British National Party, which is basically the right-wing racist party. And he went on Question Time, which of course is a show in Britain, and people panicked, and he made a complete idiot out of himself. Which just adds fuel to the fire that, yes, we need these people to talk and air themselves, because, I mean, at best,
the best weapon we have against it is ridicule. And you can't ridicule them if you're not letting them speak.
Exactly.
Because then you're just straw manning, and people realize you're straw manning, and they go look it up. And what if they find 1 ounce of sense? Because
I wish I had a straw man.
The busted clock thing isn't like that much of a fallacy. Sometimes it's dead on. And whenever people feel disenfranchised, they're going to start digging underground for answers.
Well, and plus, most of these racists humiliate themselves whenever they get into. I mean, most of them say shit that just makes you want to laugh.
Yes.
And I'm apparently a racist tolerator by laughing at them, rather than like throwing a Molotov cocktail at them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean,
because you don't realize that they haven't been in power, and the only reason they're gaining any traction now is because they've been silenced for too long.
Yes, which is I still like to throw a
people
Molotov
are sympathizing with that because there's people that are saying far more mundane things, things that don't even add up, which is an article we'll get into. It's pathetic. Anyways, Carl Benjamin, whose alias is Sargon of Akkad, said the protest was against totalitarianism, identity politics, and Islamism, which is really the same thing. No, it's kind of
And it's
different.
not against identity politics. These people are just as guilty of identity politics as the left is.
Mm-hmm.
They identify as white Christian males. But
you
as
see,
you said,
the one thing here is, okay, you got the lefties going all identity politics, trying to railroad everyone out of speech, okay? And because they think there's only one side to the debate, theirs. But what they're doing is generating the other side, which goes identity politics as well. It's just they pick the exact opposite identity.
But as you said, Carl's not out about to side with anyone. He's basically out for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I mean, Chaz has stories that he was actually friends with Sargon before he blew up because of Gamergate, and he was actually like a fairly idealistic person. And then when Gamergate happened, regardless of whether he's a gamer or not, he thought, here's something I can basically jump on. And he jumped on it, and then he realized that the way to keep himself relevant is to jump. I mean, I've seen a lot of trends we could jump on, and I tried to jump on the whole metal sucks trend, anti-metal sucks trend, and I guess I still am to a certain extent, but unfortunately, that's sort of not taken off as much as I'd like it to.
No, I just like shitting on them because it's fun to shit on them.
Well, I mean, hell, at least, yeah. Well, I was about to say, at least that's something I can actually, get behind. Like, if I was to try to jump on, anti-Trump trains or whatever, just I don't care.
See, the only reason I got involved in Metalgate was because I fucking overreacted to an article. But then I started digging and found out that some of it was kind of justified because these idiots are fucking everywhere and they're multiplying. So I have to shit on them double time now.
I don't mean to interrupt. Jenny just sent me a message. Aw, Jim and you fighting like an old married couple. It's touching.
That's good.
I hate her so much.
Those protesting against them were only in favor of curated speech, Benjamin added. Well, yeah, that's what... you get to both extremes, that's what they want. Mm-hmm. We only want what's improved.
Yep.
On the other side of the lines, Freddie Hyde Thompson, 28 from London, was shocked to find the counter-protesters outnumbered. It's really worrying, he said. This cannot come to London and there be more of them than there are of us. But it's under the banner of free speech, and your counter-protesters are pretty much saying, yeah, we don't want that shit.
I mean,
people are going to come out more for free speech, even if they're not for the right-wing shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Twitter did a dumbass thing. I just like pointing out because I think that's something Scott doesn't get sometimes is he freaks the hell out about a lot of things. And it's like, yeah, but that's Twitter's prerogative is to. So I do like it. I do like saying that. That being said, I still think that was a stupid thing Twitter did because all it's going to give is give this guy more power and leverage, and people are going to want him on talk shows. And yeah,
Yeah, and it's going to grow shit that you didn't want to grow. Whereas if we just let them keep going, no one would have cared, and they would have pointed and laughed.
Yep, but because of that, so yeah, I definitely see both sides to it.
Hi, Thompson saw the protesters' claims of support for free speech as a contradiction. If their freedom of speech is going to rub out other people's freedom of speech, then they've got no point. They want to ban certain religions. That speaks for itself.
I see it as a contradiction only because they want freedom of speech for them and not for others. But but then again,
ban
that's
certain
everyone.
religions. That depends upon which bracket you're from. So the people that were mentioned above aren't about banning other religions in their entirety. They just want people to play nice, which means naturalization process.
I'm about banning everything and replacing it with time cube.
Yeah.
And to, throw away your hymnals, throw away your hymn books. We'll be starting a new sermon.
You're damn dare.
And those
damn dare queers were teaching us they're queer one deist when we need 4 deists.
And Santa Claus evolved from Santa God.
I am
and all the world just folded into one, and 4 days were had at one,
and 4 days were had in one. It's actually one of my only good voices, the sort of firebrand preacher. Ripped off from
you do that, but I have it by natural, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You don't have to do a voice. Yeah,
no, I don't.
Kentucky.
Well, not my fault I was raised in Kentucky. God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, among those watching the speakers and videos was Fatima, a black Muslim woman who would not give her full name. I'm here for freedom of speech, she said, adding that she did not feel threatened. It's okay, I'm in my element. I don't really care. This is England. There's a guy with an infidel's shirt right in front of me. I don't know how he would react to me. That's a bit awkward for us all. But I don't care.
Well, I mean, most of them just don't like Islamists, and I'll say this about most Muslims who, they're the strongest voices criticizing when Muslims go, when Islamists go crazy and burn down a building. Who's like the first person to say, "Hey, we don't stand for that," is fellow Muslims.
Well, I have a question. Okay, in general, okay, Christianity doesn't require any kind of specific dress code, right? But Muslims do with the hijab or the head covering,
It sort of depends what sect you are and where you live and things like that.
It's very obvious if you're Muslim when you're wearing that specific dress code.
Yeah.
So they're literally putting themselves out there for that, and that's okay in its own way. That's fine.
If that's what they want to do. I mean,
yeah.
I don't really have I just don't, don't really have a problem.
But I wonder, and this is just me, and this is going to sound really fucking bad, but I wonder if they're aiming to be the new Jews.
Well, no, I mean, it's the religious code.
Or do you think that humanity can hate anyone more than they've hated the Jews for the entirety of existence?
Yeah, this is sort of a trendy hate.
Oh, yes.
Hating the Jews is a really ancient trendy hate, but yeah, it is trendy.
Well, yeah, but compared to the Jews, it's still pretty new.
Saying.
Well, we're all
you look at a Christian person, you don't see a Christian as being a Christian. You just see a white person and assume they're a Christian.
Well, and not all Muslims wear the hijab and burqas and things like that.
The ones that are more spiritual do
like
those.
It depends also what sect. I'm obviously an expert on Islamic.
Well, I'm not going to hate on those people because of that. I honestly don't fucking care. That's not my deal. My problem is how do people see this from an outside point of view, from an ignorant point of view? How do people see that?
They can only. We're all familiar with the shit that the fucking educational system's in.
Oh God, yes.
Don't even. Too high.
I mean, we got donut plus cookie equaling 17.
That bar is so low that you'd have to stumble not to hit it.
Wait, donut plus
But
cookie.
you see, yeah, that's the new math. Donut plus cookie equals 17.
I was gonna say it doesn't equal 17. The fuck, Jim?
I don't know. Don't tell me. I don't know what the fuck Common Core is.
You're breaking my heart, man.
But the whole point is, it's pretty much teaching first graders pre-calc work before their brains can even fucking comprehend it.
Yes.
Well, that totally explains why I can't understand it.
So all it does is fucking really, really disadvantaged people that don't have the brain power to fucking do that. So they don't even learn the basic math.
Yep, that's me.
It's either that or they go the complete other way around. And they just dumb it down for everyone.
Yeah, no, I just can't do math. So just let me in all that.
I can do math if it's said, but not if it's written.
I refuse to do math. So
you refuse. I object to doing math.
Yeah, I know. Jim should totally hate me.
And you remember a few episodes ago, whenever we did that article about how many kids were uncertain if the world was round.
I remember that. That was a great one.
Well, tell me that's not a good reason to vote in some whack job. Just because he doesn't want to continue that trend. He wants to do other shit.
Yeah, why do you think I voted for you? Oh.
Reason to vote in some whack job or reason not to vote in some whack job? Because
reason to vote in, he said.
I don't understand this Common Core bullshit, and I probably won't ever. And I cannot help my kids with their homework, but maybe that's their point. Maybe they don't want me to help my kids with their homework because they're so tired of our generation fucking helping the kids with their homework or doing it for them.
I mean, have you ever read...
no, I think it's more just to drive a wedge between parent and child.
Oh, God.
You disenfranchise them, and they have no familiar unit to fall back on because they just completely abandon them.
And this is nothing new.
Yuppie filth.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And this is nothing new. If you ever read To Kill a Mockingbird, which I know you've all had, which is based on part of the author's growing up, and she learned to read from her father, and then when she came back, went to school. Oh no, you can't read. You're 5 years old. You can't read yet.
You know what? I don't remember being 5 years old, so fuck you.
No, but I'm just saying that was part of the.
No, that's entirely. I honestly don't remember who the fuck taught me to. No, I don't remember who taught me to read. I don't remember being 5 years old.
Oh, I remember.
So, pretty much the abject failure of the educational system in actually convincing a majority of kids that the world is sort of spherical in shape.
Yes.
Okay, is a hardcore problem.
Yes, although it is a fun problem.
Okay, well, I will say this. My kids didn't really tend to listen to me when I present them with a fact. They might ask me to, tell them why. And, of course, I get it on the internet and I tell them why I believe this thing because I have scientific evidence to, back it up. But honest to God, they've never asked me about the world being flat. And I really hope they don't because there is nothing I could say that would prove that. It's somebody that firmly believes that the fucking world is flat.
Look at a globe.
So just to show you how much the fucking educational system has failed in even basic science and geography, and thus another reason why someone would want to vote for Trump, flat earthers think the Pac-Man effect stops us from falling off the edge of the planet.
I like that one, though.
I saw this. And,
I like that.
And I fully support this because
that's like the best flat Earth thing I've ever seen.
This is
all of the fucking flat Earth crap I've seen. That is like the best part of it.
Now, see, I
got to go and grab a 1980s icon of video games in order to explain their theory.
Now, I got into the flat Earth thing really quick because I sort of gone on the internet and when I saw the flat Earth thing, I thought, what anyone right-thinking person would think, these people must be trolls, right? And then I read a little more, and oh my god!
Well, didn't it start in 1800?
I love how a lot of their videos go think for yourself, ask questions. But apparently it's implied that you should also reject all answers given to you by someone that actually knows something.
You guys need to
that's my
do.
problem with conspiracy theories. Think for yourself as long as you come to our conclusions.
Well, yeah, but you guys need to do an actual go back to when it started and then kind of go forward from that.
Well, yeah,
Because
but I think
Flat Earth is fucking great.
but you can skip a lot of because it really caught on with the
yes,
rise
but
of the internet.
well, it
Sailors-
took off. Yes.
Sailors never had anything to fear from the edges of a flat Earth, says conspiracy theorist at the first UK Flat Earth Convention. A flat Earth convention is a thing. Let that sink in as to how far our educational system has collapsed.
Then again, yes,
Jim, we live near Kecksburg. What the hey, you?
Hey, that's just an alien land.
No. Listen, when I go to Kentucky to visit my grandparents, I have to travel through Flatwoods, West Virginia. If you don't know what that is, then you don't know anything about conspiracy theories.
All I want to know is the convention like an actual rented out hall, or is it like 12 dudes in a pub?
Oh, it's mostly just, a bunch of people in a clearing going, boy!
This is a flat Earth convention. Okay,
But
5 beers, please.
Don't hate on those people. They're honestly portraying what they think is real.
But I like to hate on people.
And I think that we should fully give them free reign.
Yes, they should speak their mind more so we can point and laugh and all that stuff.
No, because chaos, you motherfuckers.
I'm not saying...
chaos is good, yes.
I'm not saying we shouldn't give them free reign.
Encourage it. They're doing what they want.
But
who cares?
why can't I still start after giving them free reign?
Instead, objects will zap to the other side of the planet when they reach the very edge, some proponents.
Oh, I love that part. The objective is that when you're Pac-Manning across the Earth, you basically enter one side of the flat Earth and then appear on the other.
Where are the ghosts? That's all I want to know.
Just like the video game.
Where are the ghosts that chase you? That's all I want to know.
Oh, yes.
I want that.
That is a good question. Where are those guys? Lazy motherfuckers.
Yeah, right.
The convention saw flat earthers, skeptics, and the flat earth curious gather in the city of Birmingham, UK. At the event, conference speaker Darren Nesbitt.
I've heard that name before. I don't know where.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Miss Nesbitt.
Yes.
Sought to address one of the most obvious problems with flat Earth claims: why people don't just fall off the edge of the planet if they travel too far in one direction.
Oh my goodness.
We know that continuous east-west travel is a reality, he said, according to the Telegraph. No one has ever come to or crossed a physical boundary. The best explanation isn't a curved globe-shaped Earth, Nesbitt thinks. Instead, it could be something more like teleportation.
Okay, I can believe the Pac-Man theory. Maybe. But how did they explain the moon?
Oh, God.
I really want to know this. I do. Because most flat earthers describe the moon as a hologram. Even though in the 1800s, we didn't even know what a goddamn hologram was, so...
People... Danimon, come on. Ancient aliens built a hologram of the moon for us to discover. Come on. Get with it here.
I can link you to an actual timeline of science fiction ideas.
We need to get a flat earther on this show.
Yes, we do. Because I can give you this crap.
Like Pac-Man himself, who reappears on one side of the game screen, having exited the other, objects will be transported from one edge of the flat Earth to the opposite edge. Describing this as a logical possibility for truly free thinkers.
Yeah, aka Cloud Cuckoo Landers.
Nesbitt explained space-time wraps around and we got a Pac-Man effect.
Yes. Mr. Nesbitt, your medication's ready?
Nesbitt isn't the only one to highlight this effect. As Silence Alert points out, rather than a plausible concept, the Pac-Man effect is described as a ridiculous consequence of flat Earth claims online.
Insane. But I love it. See, I love these people, and I'll tell you why I love these people. Whenever I think that I'm going insane and that I've lost all grip on reality, I read something like this and just realize I'm sane.
Yes.
I need to work harder.
And I've been in a mental institution, and I'm sane compared to some of this crap. Some flat earthers are even bolder in the face of skeptics. My research destroys Big Bang cosmology, conference speaker Dave Marsh said.
Doesn't that sound like doesn't it almost sound like a timekeeping? My research destroyed Big Bang cosmology for day belly button logic.
Yep. Conference speaker Dave Marsh said, according to the Telegraph. It supports the idea that gravity doesn't exist and the only true force in nature is electromagnetism.
Gravity doesn't exist. I can prove gravity exists. Here's a cliff, and here's your body. Watch what happens when
doesn't exist. Boom! Pac-Man effect.
Oops! Now he looks just like Pac-Man.
There's plenty of disagreement within flat Earth circles as well. Is the Earth a flat circle, a series of rings, or a diamond? Is the sky really a domed roof?
I like the hollow Earth theory that basically Nazis are building like replicas of Hitler inside the hollow Earth.
I love the hollow Earth. That's my favorite. That's my absolute favoriteest.
What was the one I saw? I think, Jim, you might have told us about where if you go to a certain thing, there's just like a huge sheet of ice or something.
Yeah. And then on the other side is infinite resources. That's like one of the major flat Earth theories.
I think on the other side is infinite chaos, and basically just sanity ends.
Well, when I was designing my flat Earth cosmology for a D&D campaign, oh god, that was fun. Because you could sail off the edge of the world into the elemental plane of dust.
I still like...
Just fall straight into hell. And then on the other side's the endless ocean of the elemental plane of water. And then you had like the elemental plane of ice right beneath the elemental plane of storm. So it's just like this huge barren land. Then you had the elemental plane of wood up north, which was Idrisil. Yeah.
Yggdrasil.
There we go.
So basically, it's a total black metal wonderland. Also, I still like big rigs over the road racing, where you go off the map and you just go to this void. Oh God, it's a void of chaos, and there's a truck.
Nesbitt thinks the Earth is diamond shaped and supported with pillars, for what it's worth.
And it's supported on the back of an elephant, which is on the back.
No. All pillars. No elephants. Just pillars.
No, 4 elephants on the back of a giant turtle.
No, that's Discworld.
Yes, I know.
These people don't do fiction.
I know. But I had to reference it.
I'm sorry. Yes, I understand. But I mean...
Yes, the funny thing is they take themselves so seriously, so when you actually make a joke...
No, but...
Fucking not cool, dude.
What these people don't understand is if I had a chance, I would give my freaking left nut to actually live in Discworld.
You'd give your left nut that doesn't exist? Holy shit.
I would totally do that.
She would grow a testicle just to...
Yes, I would absolutely grow a testicle just to live in fucking Discworld.
Oh, so would I.
Specifically to live in Ankh-Morpork, because I love that place.
Yes, it does seem to burn down a lot, though.
I'm not saying this is definitely what's going on, he said, but I think it's a plausible model. Conference organizer Gary John was thrilled by the gathering of like-minded conspiracy theorists. It's just amazing to connect with people and do the experiments and prove to yourself again that the Earth is flat, he said, according to the Telegraph. People are waking up, We're going to dig us a river. I mean, we're seeing an explosion of interest in flat Earth theories and an increasing mistrust of governments. The entire mistrust of every. Well, first off, yeah, we should always mistrust the government. But second, you're mistrusting a lot of proved science here. And I could totally see why. Whenever you come out of school thinking that donut plus cookie equals 17, and then you're asked to make simple change at a cash register, will automatically think that if the world's working against you. The Earth is flat.
They don't try to cultivate any minds in school. It's basically answer all the questions on the test and fuck off. They don't. If you are one of those people who doesn't respond well to that, you're screwed. Unless you're like me, who can. But Jim, we got about 10 feet, and you guys get in your backyard and start digging the trenches. And by the way, I have it on good authority that he was talking about that about flat Earth while foaming at the mouth because he had 300 hits of acid.
Yes. Oh God.
The Earth is flat, and God, my arm is burning. I want a permit trip. I want a permit trip just so welcome to the Swine Brothers. Oh my God, my computer's grown legs.
Well, I like this Nesbitt guy that you're talking about. He's literally 82 years old.
So, conspiracy theories mixed with senility equals Gene Ray.
I looked it up. I mean, the dude is literally 82 years old. Now, nothing against old people because, oh my gosh, my grandparents, I have to love them. But what the shit, yo? What the hell was he smoking?
I am glad my grandparents died before they went.
I can only hope that I become that kind of whack job whenever I get that.
God, I hope I make it to that.
We have Jim Thompson from Swine Brothers. He was the former host of Swine Brothers.
I sure as hell did enough drugs in my youth to rot my brain that bad.
Yes. And so what'll happen is we'll be doing the show like 20 years from now. And you'll just be talking and all of a sudden you'll be like, and the Earth is flat. It's a fucking diamond shape.
And you know how things go in politics, that the one side thinks that they're always the one that has to dominate all discourse at all times.
Yes.
Well, since we've had the left in charge for how long under Obama, which technically wasn't left, although some of it was. A lot of it was.
We've had trade-offs.
Yeah. You start there and think that leftist things is the only thing that you need to hear about. So people are going to vote against that just so they can hear their fucking voice.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. The only thing I'll say about that is they voted for... I mean, Ted Cruz wasn't going to get any votes. He's way too religious for most mainstream people. And Trump is sort of... He packaged himself beautifully. I mean, I'll say this about Trump. He's a great marketer.
I don't know about Ted Cruz. I mean, he did have that meme going for him with the whole Zodiac killer crap. I mean...
Did you just quote memes?
Yes. But I feel like that people in the younger bracket might have actually voted for him because of that whole war shit.
Younger people voted for him because he's the Zodiac killer.
Yes.
No, but I'm just saying, so Trump packaged himself beautifully. Hey, if you don't want Hillary and you want someone cool,
that's all you had to say is if you don't want Hillary. Oh God, I remember the first 8 years she was president. Fuck that shit.
Well, that in, if you don't want Hillary and you don't want Ted Cruz, who's ultra religious, vote for me. I'll fucking piss in people's beds, man.
God, if he actually promised to piss in people's beds,
I would totally let Trump piss in my bed.
I mean,
But I mean, so that's the thing.
I'm not in my bed, but just the fact that if you would have flat out said, I'm going to piss in people's beds, that might have actually swayed my vote. Just saying, what? You were going that far? Finally, a politician that understands my
That
need.
would totally make something to talk about. That's all I'm saying.
I would vote for the bed pisser.
That's how you win our vote, Trump. Promise
Oh,
to
for
piss
God's
in
sake, I
people's
piss in
bed.
my own bed. I piss in my own bed often enough. It's about time somebody else does.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
That's great.
What?
So we
What?
had pretty much. So what have we learned on Swine Brothers? We had pretty much our first. Actually, that was like me and Jim's first real huge argument about 3 years into the show, which is actually pretty solid.
And
And
you see how quickly I got over it. I just ducked out for 5 seconds, said "motherfucker," then came back in.
yeah, and I was trying to make my point. I didn't make it very well, and I apologize. I'm not going to apologize for
Well,
that.
you just kept repeating yourself, and I was like, just no.
And we learned that Danamon pisses the bed.
Yes. And we also know that CNN thinks socialism is cool. My grandparents from the USSR would disagree.
This one I'm going to be interested in because I've seen a lot of misnomers here. And actually, a lot of the Russians from the USSR were fine with communism. Not so much in like the first part of it, but the second part of it, they were like, could be worse. And now some of them are desperately saying, let's go back into communism because Putin's worse.
My grandma, let's go to the country that like starved another country just because they felt like it.
Yes, because they were bored.
My grandmother grew up in Ukraine, which was then part of the USSR. After waking each morning, she checked to see if any of her family members died during the night.
That's always good to do.
Yeah. Many of her compatriots were already dead because Joseph Stalin, the Soviet leader, implemented a mass starvation program. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hell of a guy.
Known as the Holodomor, the goal of the policy was to starve Ukrainians into submission.
Oh, love.
That is like the most like that's not even Hitler level. That's so beyond Hitler.
Oh, people like to talk about massive massacres throughout history. They talk about the Serbian, the
They pretty much
it's like that whole hold my beer thing, just thinking about it. It's like, if I would have starved people in these small little camps. Oh, yeah, said Stalin.
Like every generation
I'm going to starve an entire fucking country. Hold my beer.
They basically said that Stalin was assassinated, like poisoned, because he was getting ready for another mass purge of like the army. And one of his top-ranking officials basically said the Russian equivalent of, oh, fuck this.
Every generation in history has tried to starve out another country or another. It's nothing new, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's nothing to be, proud of either, or to try to, make something of, because fucking we're human beings.
I like Jim's analogy though. Here, I'm going to starve people in camps and put them in showers and kills them. Oh yeah, holds my beer.
That's humanity.
I'm going to starve a fucking country. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's fucking humanity. Mm-hmm. Some of us are more ambitious. Some of us are more like, oh, I don't know, Ezra Bathory.
Somebody, yes. By the way, if somebody's listening out there, animate that. I want to see Hitler and Stalin in a one-upman contest.
Oh yeah, we also got Hitler versus Pol Pot. I am going to pick a very specific thing that is very good, and it is all done by race. Oh yeah, well I'm just gonna start killing everyone with glasses. Hold my just completely arbitrary. Just fuck it, glasses, dead.
Because they're intellectuals.
I like Pol Pot.
Just having failing eyesight doesn't matter. Dead.
Pol Pot would just start beating people against trees, regardless. So, yay!
I love evil dictators. They're so fun.
Right? They're great. But the point is, that's fucking humanity. Why the hell are we making it a competition? Who's the worst? Blah,
Because
blah,
it's
blah.
fun.
Oh.
Known as the Holodomor, the goal of the policy was to starve Ukrainians into submission. It
Of
worked as
course.
intended. Stalin murdered perhaps 4 million Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm.
For this reason and others, Ukrainians are a bit picky when asked if their accent is Russian. I would be too. I'd be like, fuck you.
Wait.
Burn.
Didn't Ukraine actually get invaded by Russia recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't they cow to Russia
Well,
recently?
there's not much you can do. I mean, but no.
Yeah, but I mean, you understand where I'm coming from here.
Well, yeah, but they're not
There's more
stupid.
to it.
If they know they're gonna get beaten, they might as well just get it over with.
Mm.
My grandmother only escaped this torture when she was, along with the Russian man who would become my grandfather, were kidnapped by the Nazis and taken to Germany as slave labor.
That's a hell of a life.
I
I'm
was
sure.
saved by being put into I was saved from the starvation of my country by being put into a Nazi concentration camp.
A lot more survived than people
She needs
think.
to write a book.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
That is like what? Okay, we got out of the fire and just went into the frying pan. The frying pan was safer than the fire.
Yes, now I'm a slave.
Hey, there was a barrier, and that's all that mattered.
Yes.
Thus, they stopped living in the Soviet socialist dream and began experiencing the National Socialist dream instead.
This sounds like a really depressing TV show or something, you know?
But awesome. It also sounds awesome.
Awesome. Just the fucking, oh my God. Just how horrible it would have sucked to just say that, you know what? Me suffering here.
The best part about
Germany is just one teensy-weensy baby step better than starving to death in my native country.
Yeah, and the best part about this is that we were actually able to look over it and say, that sucks, and not actually experience that fucking shit for ourselves.
The best part is there wasn't even like a choice. They were kidnapped.
No, what I'm saying is that we don't have to experience this kind of crap for ourselves.
Not
we
until
weren't
I become
part
in
of that.
charge.
No, we weren't part of that. We weren't part of the Holocaust. We weren't part of the Holodomor. We are just people who exist tons of time after what happened then, and we don't appreciate it.
Wait a minute. Jim wears glasses, right?
Yes.
Oh, you're
kind
fucked. You're fucked. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm already fucked because I enjoy ladies' company, so
you're safe.
I'd be euthanized, or maybe
it's like a Varg Vikernes.
forcibly sterilized, but I'm already sterilized, so it doesn't.
It's like Varg Vikernes.
I'd be euthanized.
From Burzum talking about how he wants to kill all homosexual men, but not homosexual women for some reason.
I was reminded of all this last month when CNN celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday with a tweet that claimed the civil rights hero was a socialist before it was cool.
Not really. I mean, it sort of depends on...
He just wanted to side with whoever the fuck was going to give him what he wanted, which was his dream, where white and black kids could run around playing together without, like, all the other bullshit, yet, you know...
And was that so bad?
And, I mean, the term socialism and communism, they're actually two different things. Socialism is a little less hardcore than communism.
No. I mean, promoting...
But just a little. It still causes enough starvation.
Like, Social Democrats doesn't really compare, to be honest, because it's basically capitalism with some restraint. Whereas socialism is more... But, yeah.
I don't care about capitalism or socialism or whatever the fuck you're talking about. I just care about people getting along with each other long enough that they don't want to kill each other just immediately because of their skin color or their creed
Well, yeah,
or whether the fuck
agree
they believe in.
I think what they should kill each other is because there's another human right there. Can't we all just get
Well,
along
that
and
is
kill each other?
understandable. I can get behind that. My problem is, though, is that you can't get to that being an acceptable state of being if we don't just accept each other for who we are.
She could get along. She could get along with people killing people because they're human. That's why you're on this show.
You
I'm
see,
just saying.
I say the same thing. You know, racists are just too damn selective.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care who you are. If you're a human being, you're stupid. Yes, I want you to die. Maybe. I might try to kill you myself, looking at you, Jim.
I know.
I have to come up with a real good way to get you.
Please film it.
I'm trying.
It's nothing against you. You understand? It's just that.
No, I view this as a very, very specific, intelligent challenge to me. All like Sherlock Holmes and all that crap.
You're like Sherlock Holmes.
I gotta make it look good. I gotta make it look good. But the point is though, if you're a human being, then I might tolerate your existence, and that's fine. But ultimately, I just don't fucking care about you because you're human, and what the fuck? Why would I?
Aww.
Elliot, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know. I'm smiling. I love it.
Humans are just
You don't understand. I love the way this is going.
First, the most trusted name in news is on historically dubious ground. Dr. King was a brilliant theologian, but not an expert in political economy. Hence why everyone's a fucking idiot. This is why I say everyone's an idiot. Yes, you can be a master of one thing, but that means you're going to be a complete fucking tard in everything else.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and here's my favorite part, and this is partly going back to the Clinton thing with the whole cigar crap. Actually, Martin Luther King was fucking cheating on his wife like constantly, right?
Yeah.
But who cares? Yeah, who cares? He was a man. He was a person. Who the fuck cares what he did with his personal life?
I'm not even sure that's true, only because I've seen.
It doesn't even matter, though.
Well, but I have to bring it up because you brought it up. But because I've seen two. Part of it is he was a great, abstinent person who only had sex with his wife. The other half is, he fucking like white chicks.
Well, it doesn't matter whether or not he was cheating on anybody or not. I honestly don't care. That is not my issue. My problem is that, look, he was a person. And him cheating on his spouse just makes him more of a person.
I just think it's funny that both sides have to exaggerate.
No. We have to compare Martin Luther King to Trump here, okay? Because Trump acts like an idiot as far as grabbing by the pussy goes. Right? But Martin Luther King may have done the same goddamn thing. So,
I mean, he probably did. Every let's put it this way, every actual well-known person was cheating on their wives or their wives are cheating on them too.
If you're going to define those sort of acts, those sort of debased sexual acts or whatever, as a bad thing, then you're no better than the goddamn feminazis that are all like, oh, but he raped me. That kind of crap. That's not cool. Human beings are human beings. We act like we do. We are naturally inclined to do things that make our lives horrible. And if people want to judge us for it, then fuck them, because who cares?
That was the best part about reading about Napoleon was he was cheating on his wife, and then he found out his wife was cheating on him too.
Oh, his Josephine.
I was reminded just moments ago of a weird dream I had when I was like teeny bopper, like just graduating high school and shit around that age. And like the dream was I was fighting against the last boss, and the last boss was George Bush. And then after I killed him, it was Bill Clinton. Then I was like barely clinging on to life with my party of friends who were all like weird wizards of the elements and shit, like I was. You know, like barely clinging on to life, and like after Bill Clinton was killed, then Hillary Clinton came down as the final form of the last boss, and then the alarm clock went off, and I woke up.
See, that's
Jim,
a
you had
good.
the
Damn,
best
I wanted
dream.
to see if I could kill all that.
That's a
Jim-
good dream, Jim. Unfortunately, it doesn't involve a Malcolm McDowell toilet.
Yes, I know, that's depressing.
I love Malcolm McDowell.
That was the best dream ever.
His writings on the topic are contradictory. On the one hand, Dr. King wrote, I am much more socialistic in my economic theory than capitalistic. On the other hand, he had a visceral hatred of communism, which he called fundamentally incompatible with Christianity.
Not arguing there.
Well, yes, you can have a socialist economy view and not be a communist. That's not
Yeah, but it usually slips into something closer the more you go, unless you have a really, really, really massive check and balance, and no one's going to put forth the effort to maintain it.
Yeah, but I don't think Martin Luther King ever thought that most of his ideas would ever become mainstream. I mean, I think at the end of his life, he was basically saying, I think we need to get more direct because this isn't working out very well.
No, see how that turned out for him.
Well, hey, at least he's remembered.
Yes, he is. I'm not saying that.
Who the hell's gonna remember us? 50 years later, there's gonna be a Swine Brothers death cult.
I hope. That'd be great.
Me too.
Point being, though, is that Martin Luther King wasn't expected to be remembered. No.
No, he was doing what he thought was right, and
he did what he thought was right. He didn't care, and that's the important bit. And if more people thought like that and just didn't give a fuck, man, maybe we wouldn't have so many goddamn feminists out there. I don't like feminists.
Secondly, what exactly is cool about socialism? After the war, my grandparents understandably resisted going back to the USSR, especially since Stalin had issued Order 270, which declared Soviet prisoners of war traitors who should be sent to gulags.
Yeah,
God, that's heavy.
No, don't want to do that.
That's heavy. Yes, prisoners of war are traitors. No wonder he was assassinated.
Hey, you brought that on yourself, bub.
Yeah. There's only so much you can take before one of your most devoted officials, who's so devoted he was in your inner circle, basically goes, you know what? Here, enjoy some arsenic.
Wait, no, isn't that what happened to Hitler? Kinda.
Hitler committed.
Well,
they tried bombing him from his inner circle.
Yeah, they tried. That's what I'm saying. Is that all those people?
Yeah, but it didn't work.
All those people were trying, though. That's the point.
But I'm just saying, it actually succeeded with Stalin. He did.
Guess Hitler was a little more smart.
It was dumb luck that saved him.
Though my grandparents weren't soldiers, they decided it would be wise to not find out if the policy applied to civilians. I agree.
Yeah.
So they pretended to be Polish and came to America. At the time, the U.S. was gladly accepting refugees from shithole countries.
Oh.
It's frustrating to me that many Americans are ignorant of this history.
No.
While the crimes of the Nazis are well known, the crimes of the Soviets are not.
Well, you can still say you're a Stalinist and not get although if you say you're a Nazi, but that is true. That is very true, actually.
Well, okay, first of all, I'd like to say, how many people in the U.S. today can actually look at somebody and say, I'm a communist, and not get hated on?
Not to the extent that Nazis are. Not even close.
No, we have this...
And in fact, we have much large circles online that actually promote this shit via... Oh, God.
I mean,
I have seen fucking social networking sites promote the hell out of someone commie that fucking posted, come to my commie site.
Well, I'm not worried about that.
I mean, you may get
but they don't do the same thing for the Nazis.
Yeah.
No, my
And
problem is
that's completely blacked out, and it's on. And even someone whispering it in a private chat gets banned from the fucking network because they said one Nazi thing.
At
all
best,
right,
you may get growled at or spat on or whatever. It maybe in like rare circumstances, violence in real life, but it's not even close to Nazis.
okay, well, let me say this. When you pretend to be a Nazi, nobody cares, right?
No,
Everyone
everyone
cares.
cares and shits on your Wheaties. I don't care, but you get a shit ton of people screaming, "Oh my God, ban, destroy,
Yeah,
kill."
yeah.
Okay, well,
But then
when
you
you
say you're a communist, and you get like people like us saying, "But you're a genocidal maniac."
And you
And
get
I'm
some
right,
like,
other
"Oh,
people
blah,
okay,
blah, blah,
saying,
blah." And then you got 6 million people flooding you saying, "You're a fucking Nazi if you're against communism." What? I
okay,
literally got that.
let's put it this way: more people hate the whole communism is okay in practice, but or in theory, but not in practice argument, as opposed to the National Socialist argument.
you may get some vitriol for saying you're a communist or for saying that
No, God,
communism
no, I'm
works.
not a communist.
But
So,
but what I'm trying to say is you won't get nearly enough if you say you're a Nazi. You'll actually get people who support you if you say you're a communist, even if you
what
say
I
you're a
mean is,
Stalinist.
yeah, what I mean is that people who go
But if you
online
say
who
you're a
say that,
Nazi, you're going to be fucking ducked into the dark web.
yeah. No, what I
But if you
mean is
say you're
that
a
people.
communist, it's okay to say out in the open because it's part of polite society now.
You'll get some
Oh, is
hate, but you'll get some hate regardless of what you say. If you say you're a Republican or a Democrat or bestiality porn, what?
In the 1940s, didn't we have an anti-American committee for this kind of crap?
Well, part of the reason why, well, that was the 50s, but part of the reason why they accepted people from Poland and the USSR was actually an anti communist propaganda trick, basically saying, hey, look, we're accepting these people that the communists don't want. See how great we are and see how bad communists are. Um, because of course,
And and the fact that McCarthyism happened at all is
Oh.
exactly why communism is part of polite society, because we don't want to be like those backwards people from the past bashing ideas. No, we're going to be all accepting, even though this idea is completely virulent and fucking disgusting.
which McCarthyism went way, but I love the stories though.
Mm-hmm.
I love the McCarthyism stories about like what was it? Who was it? Charlie Chaplin was run out of this
Oh.
country.
That explains how CNN can tweet about how cool socialism is. It also explains how one BuzzFeed editor wished for full communism for Christmas, and
You know
another
what?
BuzzFeed reporter dismissed the victims of communism as a white nationalist talking point. See, this is how accepted it is. BuzzFeed is kind of a major site, sort of. I don't really pay attention to it, but I know others who do. And they're
I'll
saying, go suck communist dick. It's great. Everyone
click on
loves
it
it. And
if
anyone
it's.
that's against communism, especially people who suffered under communist regimes, are just fucking Nazis. And,
Well,
that's okay to say.
Well,
But
all
yes.
you
right.
get like the Daily Stormer getting banned again.
Um, there's an aphorism that people might appreciate here. Those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is on the sign of Jonestown behind Jim Jones's dead body.
Well, clearly we learned nothing from the communist, threat during the 1950s.
I mean, the
We've
whole
learned
white
nothing
nationalist.
about communism watching it completely collapse time and time again.
I mean, the
Right?
whole
Well,
white
we still
nationalist talking
haven't learned
point thing
anything.
is from someone has never done the research and has only heard white nationalists say these because they do say that a lot, trying to deflect Hitler
Oh,
by
yes.
basically saying, "Well, look how many people." And it's sad that they're the only people saying that. It's sort of like
And that's one of the footholds that the fucking Nazis get into people. It's like, look, these people killed before. Well, you're the only ones that actually realize this. I'm going to listen to you. Because in
either
polite
that
society, it's actually bad to say bad things about communism. Even though, yes, people will still get hate about it, in polite society, it's a no-no because the Nazis did that.
But in polite society right now, it's bad to say things about Trump. So
No, it's good to say
No,
things
it's
about Trump.
actually
What?
good because if you pay attention to any news network, that's
well,
all they
no, I
do. They
know
talk people
Trump
more.
is generally more in the public eye than other political
Yes,
parties.
he's a hate figure.
I have
Yes,
noticed that.
he's the person that people want to spend their 2 minutes of hate on.
And Jim, it goes both ways. Either they'll say, "Wow, you're the only one talking about this. I'll listen to you," or "Wow, you're the only one talking about this, and you're a complete."
Or you're the
So
only
it
one
must be
telling the
not
truth
true.
about this.
Yes, but to the people that are more susceptible and more disenfranchised and didn't do their research,
Yep.
you're going to get them saying, "I'll listen more." And if it was out in the open, they'd be the people
Oh
that are
yeah.
more disenfranchised would look at us pointing and laughing at them and be like, I don't want to be pointed and laughed at.
Yep. And then, but yeah. So you have that. That is definitely a problem in modern society where people
Oh,
do gloss over.
okay, but clearly these people have never had their own internet TV show.
Yeah.
These repulsive sentiments are surprisingly common. Indeed, it is fashionable for intellectuals, especially those in a lot of the articles we have read about college campuses,
BuzzFeeds are intellectual.
particularly those in the cozy confines of academia who've never had to suffer under it, to praise the virtues of socialism.
Oh God,
It's
yes.
weird. It's weird because Jim, you've talked to communists, and they will go out of their way to describe to you why the USSR wasn't communist. And most of their excuses are retarded, but
It's like
at
every
least
fucking communist I've ever
Well,
met.
see, technically, socialism is the means to get to communism, which communism is actually where government is abolished and everyone's.
stateless, but it'll never happen. And I keep telling
Yeah,
you
you
that.
can't.
At most, you'll get a hardcore socialism.
Which, you know, privileges one class and makes everyone impoverished pretty much, because that's what it all turns into as politicians realize, wait, I have all this power? Fuck that, I'm jackpotting the system.
Yeah,
Like every fucking politician
and
does.
people don't. And the thing I love is people don't know how to say. People don't have any arguments other than quoting like Kropotkin, who was a rich guy, about what's someone going to do if they want power. If you don't have, but the people will always have the means to get power. That will never change ever.
There's a quote that says that power corrupts, absolutely. And absolute power always corrupts.
No, it's power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Even the absolutely incorruptible.
It's human beings. You gotta aim low.
I aim so low that I'm in the sewer.
This whitewashed version of history is a moral blind spot that is the left's equivalent of Holocaust denial. That's actually one sentence that I agree with.
I can't actually find fault with that, and I'm pissed off because I can't find a fault with it. Damn it.
Holocaust denial?
Yeah, it's pretty much Holocaust denial. I'm denying the fact that Ukraine was starved to the tune of 4 million. And we're not even counting how many more were sent to gulags spread across the land.
Well, okay, well, Elliot, why can't you deny that?
Because, as they said, what's happening is basically people who are in positions like CNN and BuzzFeed are. The guy from BuzzFeed said that people killed in communism were white nationalist talking points.
It's because you're ignorant, isn't it?
What?
Because you're ignorant, and that's okay.
How am I ignorant?
That you don't know what happened.
No,
actually,
I know.
I've seen the footage of what the fuck happened.
I'm saying they don't know what happened.
They don't know what happened, and they're praising it.
Doesn't make you.
They didn't.
That doesn't make you necessarily ignorant of the whole Admar.
It doesn't make us ignorant.
No, that makes them ignorant.
they are definitely ignorant because they're just turning a blind eye to the millions that died under it.
Like I said, they call them white nationalist talking points, which is turning a blind eye to everything.
It's pretty much saying, oh, they died. Well, that's just Nazi
Okay.
propaganda because they didn't die. Because I said they didn't die. That 4 million that
Okay.
starved to death.
No, what you're presenting here is basically the Holocaust deniers, but for the Holodomor.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Yeah, they're denying pretty much a Holocaust that happened throughout
Well,
the USSR and every other communist regime because the only way they can keep power, they have to come into power through a revolution. But then after the revolution happens, they have to make certain the counter-revolution doesn't happen. So the first thing they do is take away all the means to do it. Then they start killing people that even start sounding even remotely like it, or they just look different, or they wear glasses, therefore intellectual. Ergo, they might cause a rebellion. Let's get rid of them.
I only have one thing to say. And that is that I hope that the people who contributed to this fucking famine die of dysentery.
They did. They died of old age.
No,
Yeah.
I literally hope they shit themselves to death.
No, the ones that did the Ukrainian starvation, most of them died of all fucking old age. They lived at ripe old age.
I'm
Except
sure,
for-
but this is
yeah.
taking place in the 1930s. I know that. I am okay with that. Point is, though, is that I hope that everybody who believes that this is not a thing dies of dysentery.
Oh yeah, the people today that think that brush this off should.
Anyone who doesn't believe that a Holocaust happened
shit themselves to death.
should absolutely shit themselves to death. And the Holodomor motherfuckers, I really hope that at least one of them did shit themselves to death because, oh my fucking god.
Which is an awesome way to go, by the way.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, I think those who praise socialism do so more out of ignorance than out of malice. But ignorance is not a good excuse. Those who defend socialism today rely on flawed arguments that don't stand up to scrutiny.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a difference between communism and socialism, but remember that neither's really that good whenever you go that far extreme, is what they're saying. And
it's called a slippery
there's no
slope.
choice but to go extreme because you're giving the government that much control. They're going to run as far with it as they can and milk you for every cent they can.
Yep, it's the slippery slope, and then everyone dies. And people wonder how the hell that happened.
Like I said, the only way it could possibly work is if you have one hell of a counterbalance system, but there's no way to institutionalize it because you've just given that much power to the government and they're going to run with it.
I mean, Elliot, if we were to institutionalize some sort of death program where people were, sent to die, then it wouldn't be death without purpose, would it?
Wait, can I be in charge?
Yes.
Yay!
What I am going to do
is I am going to build a giant satellite that rotates right underneath the Earth that is in the shape of a giant paper shredder. And then I will turn on the graviton field wave and just begin drawing the entire planet into the paper shredder to eliminate all life.
Humans are.
See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build Archimedes from Fallout, but like times 100.
That'd be great.
It just wipes out
you're
whole
just gonna
cities.
make everything ash, though. I want there to be actual fucking body parts just lying there.
Yeah, but we assassinated President Kimball. With the laser from you must make sacrifice.
Oh.
He was sitting there making such a good speech, and it was great, and then boom.
It's not as much
mystery body parts of his just started floating up and disappearing as we consumed him. And our fucking stealth boy turned on.
It's not as much fun if you don't have random body parts just laying about everywhere.
Well, yeah, it's true.
If you don't just have people just, skeletons just every fucking where.
Oh my god, pieces of his flesh are disappearing somehow.
The biggest misunderstanding is the notion that socialism, which is good, and communism, which is bad, are not the same thing.
Mhm.
They're not the same thing, but it's,
No, communism is a lot more stupid, but not necessarily as stupid.
but
Both of them are stupid. I mean,
yeah, they're both really
Communism is impractical, and socialism leads to genocide. There.
There we go. That's a good explanation.
Yes.
Because you can't be stateless,
No. No
which
one
is
would
what
take it.
communism is, and socialism is just like, let's give the government all the power.
No one would take stateless systems. They wouldn't
No.
know how to fucking take it.
Because everyone likes that sense of community and having a shared language so they can actually talk.
Yes,
Because-
and it's like this reminds me of when we tried to talk about how the positives of religion, and then Bitch Boy came and ruined it.
It's because we're human beings. It has nothing to do with language. It's because we're human beings.
This might be true in theory, but it never quite works out in that way in practice. It is impossible to separate socialism from communism because the former, an economic system, inevitably leads to the latter, a socio-political system.
True.
Why? Because centralized economic control only works if its citizens have no rights. True. Centralized control of the government only works if citizens have no rights, not just economic. We're talking every tier of life.
I'm fine with citizens having no rights as long as I have all the rights. And then we put them all into fucking catapults and launch them into the sun.
Laser cannon death sentence.
Thank you.
There we go. In an ideal socialist society, the people own the means of production. Everyone's basic needs are met. Leaders are elected democratically. When implemented, however,
Which, by the way, is a great idea.
When implemented, however, human nature intervenes, which
Thank
is our
you.
point.
Yes,
Human
exactly.
Humans suck. God
How many
damn.
times have I told Tristan, Jim, and you know that you've seen our debates, that yes, I love communism in theory. Communism in theory is a great idea. It's just human nature, and he always like, oh
What
no,
if we
this one
rewrite
guy
human
says
nature? You can't.
this one guy says human nature isn't bad, so it can't be bad.
Well, no, it's because they assume what they know of themselves, but they
Well,
project that image
oh.
onto other people.
It's
No,
like
no.
it's like he was saying he would never do something in a post-apocalyptic world.
Elliot,
Yes, you
it's like,
know
look
exactly.
at me, look at. It's like if I were to say that I don't believe that Elliot would eat somebody, because I don't believe this Elliot, or I don't believe I would eat somebody, but I know Elliot would. But no, if I were there, then Elliot totally wouldn't.
We had a conversation with this guy.
No, I totally wouldn't believe that. You know I wouldn't.
You know what I'm
but
talking about, Jim? We had a conversation with this guy who said, "No, I'd never do something like that in a post-apocalyptic world."
oh God, no.
How do you know?
Because you haven't been put in that situation, fucker. You're living a cushy,
Right?
cozy life and haven't been pushed to that extreme where it's do or die
Exactly.
survival.
And I tried to explain that to him, and he.
Well, don't look at me. I would totally eat you assholes if I had to. So.
And when human nature intervenes, powerful elites take charge. The group, which usually consists of a charismatic individual and his politically loyal kleptocrats, becomes the true owner of the means of production. They exist largely to serve themselves, so voices of opposition must be suppressed.
I mean,
politics is the only reason why I'm not eating your ass.
What Tristan says is basically the only reason that it's human nature is because we're trained in this capitalistic system to think like that. And I keep telling him, no, that's not
trained
why.
by the fact that we get hungry, need food, need water, and they're not always around. Ergo, scarcity. So we're going to do what it takes to get them.
Yes, exactly. And the same thing with power. Powerful people like power. It has nothing to do with social conditioning. Stalin liked power.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
nothing wrong with that.
People liked power. So you're going to get people who in a system where nobody wants power, who better to shoulder the burden than people who actually do want power?
Free speech is abandoned, and eventually fair elections are too.
Yes.
Welcome to the USA.
Well,
Eh,
okay. I have a theoretical question here.
Hmm.
Just imagine, like for once, if the Democrats got everything that they wanted to, and that they were able to, make a election where they had all the people that they wanted in the election to be, making a fascist state, obviously, but how do you think that we wouldn't all become cannibals under that?
well, I mean, the thing is we don't know how we would be under, let's say, a fashion or a famine or a post-apocalyptic world because we're people in, like, let's say, a desert party who get lost and have to eat each other, or the helicopter crash or whatever. They're acting in ways they never thought they would have to act because no one sits down on a thing going,
No.
I might have to eat Timmy.
Now the problem is though is that yes, we have an absolute fucking moral discouragement on cannibalism. We absolutely do not want people to do that because that's bad. We have movies about that kind of crap, you know?
But I'm just saying it all has to do
But
with if you're
if it
forced
were to
into
if it were to come down to it, our generation right now, do you think that they'd actually observe the cannibalism taboo that
no,
society has put forth? Do you
because
No,
think that?
not when faced with starvation. No.
you're forced into situations. I mean, do you think that, let's say, Alfred Packer's party in Colorado or something
Oh,
like that?
I love that guy.
Do you think they were thinking when they were like 10 years old? My
Oh
dream is
God,
to get
no.
eaten. They were acting in ways that they had no earthly idea that they would ever
No,
act
no.
on.
The better question there is to ask whether or not Alfred Packer thought, "Do you think at one point I'm gonna have to eat somebody?"
I
Hell,
actually
do you
might
think that the people in the Donner Party thought that?
no.
They didn't
They
really
were at
eat.
a. I
They
mean,
didn't really eat each other. That was kind
Well,
of
they actually
it was
did.
misproportioned.
It
But
wasn't mass, but it was
no,
enough that it
yeah.
did happen.
but okay, or the helicopter crash. And I think it was Paraguay where the guys had to eat each other.
From the
But
movie
so
Alive.
people don't. I mean, you have to
No,
do what you
you
have to do.
never expect yourself to be in that situation.
I mean, I okay here. I Let's say in 30 years time, I get lost in the wilderness with, I don't know, Jim, and I have to eat Jim, which would probably taste horrible.
Oh, sucks to be you.
I'm not thinking right now that, you know what, all I want to do in 30 years is get lost in the wilderness and have to eat my friend. So no. People act in ways that they have no concept of because it's completely alien to their situation.
Okay, well, as I recall, Alfred Packer was actually there was doubt cast on the fact that he had to eat them
Well,
because
yeah, they had to
because
eat.
he was an experienced trapper and he should have known how to actually go out and
Well,
kill
we'll get into
things.
that later. We would want to, but there's a whole thing I want to send you.
Now, what you want to talk about is the Donner Party. The Donner Party actually did have to eat parts of the humans that they've gone up the trail with, but that was only because they got snowed in and they didn't know what the fuck to do because they were idiots.
Same with
No, yeah, they were idiots because they didn't plan the trip well at
Yeah,
all. But
no.
this is band of God-fearing Christian types going down, and all of a sudden, oh God!
You were just
And
a bunch of
they
idiot
were
people who
eating.
didn't
They
know what
were
the
so
fuck was going
desperate that
on.
they were eating the hides of their animals, the tanned
Yeah.
hides, the shoe
Like,
leather.
if
They
you're
were
gonna
eating
sit there
that, and
and
then
you're
like
gonna
someone died, and they're like, you know what? I need some real meat, and
Jim.
they just died.
When you were growing up, did you ever think you get? Did you ever think your number one dream was to be brainwashed into a Jesus cult?
Oh, fuck no. I always said to myself, I would have never, ever let myself be brainwashed into a cult. Get faced with the position where I'm fucking homeless, jobless, there's no hope for me. Fuck, I'll do anything
Wait,
for a roof over my head.
But you were there before, though.
That's the point. People need self-reflection and self.
Yeah, but not as bad as I was that time. That time was horrible, and like it was a place to give me a roof over my head and a meal in my stomach. I was like, sign me up, and I said, well, what's a few praise Jesuses a day just for a meal? I don't care.
Oh God, yes.
And then like after a year, I was like sitting there as a firebrand preacher and fucking shit. Fuck. Anyways, look no further than Venezuela for an example of how an allegedly socialist utopia necessarily leads to a communist crackdown.
Oh God.
The thing that annoys me is whenever I say I'm a social democrat, people think I'm a socialist, and that means communist, and that means Venezuela. And I have to
means you're a
explain
fucking
that,
liberal, and we have to hate on you.
and I have to, well, yeah, right. I mean, I have to explain, like, no, that doesn't mean that. No, not even close.
Well, okay, well, if it makes you feel better, I have to tell people I'm a libertarian. And they're like, what?
Well, yeah, most people think libertarians are whack jobs.
Nobody knows who the hell they are. Not the younger
There's
generation.
not really a codified belief system of libertarians, though. It's sort of a catch-all term. I mean,
look, libertarian to me
It is
just
kind
means
of a catch-all term for anyone that wants something as close to anarchy as possible, but realizes
I literally just want people to leave me the fuck alone. Just leave me the fuck alone, and we're all good. That is how libertarian does for me.
all I want is a human burger.
We are watching history repeat itself, human burger. As the socialist system collapses, Maduro implements tyranny. That's how it works. That's how it always works. Yep.
It's just funny because whenever, like I said, I'm a social democrat. Oh, you like fuck Venezuela? How's that? I was like, I've never liked Venezuela. Shut the fuck up.
If I want to eat somebody, then you need to leave me the hell alone because I'm just gonna eat them.
That I can support, and I'm for president.
Another flawed argument is the belief that Europe represents a model socialist society.
What?
I never said it was perfect. I just said that, like,
model
politically, like economically, and things like that, it's closer to what I believe in. And
model.
Social democrat, not socialist. You fucking teen.
But European countries do not own the means of production. Companies are owned by entrepreneurs, not the people or the government.
Yes, that's why they're not socialists. They're social democrats.
Yeah.
Gosh.
For better or worse, what Europe has is an immensely regulated capitalist society with a large social safety net funded by very high taxes.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, you're going to pay taxes anyway. Would you rather they go to safety net, or would you rather they go to, arms race?
That is a tough question.
Yeah, but they're never going to use the weapons, Jim. Look at all the fucking Cold War shit.
I know.
There's so many options
No. You can only do arms race if you promise to use the weapons every week.
Aye, Captain.
I'm just saying, there's you're gonna pay taxes anyway. You might as well do something good.
Whether Americans love or hate Europe's cradle-to-grave welfare, it's not equivalent to socialism. Which, no, it's not.
No, the only people who say it is are fucking misinformed. Yeah. I know. I've debated them countless times. Now I get headaches.
Okay. Wait, no, it's totally a handout. I'll tell you this much. Okay, I've been on welfare since I was fucking born. And I can tell you this much. My parents, if they had had a choice, probably would have chosen to be sterilized. I know that I myself have chosen to be sterilized. If it was more available in the U.S., then more people might actually accept that. But we won't do that. And you know what? I sit here saying I don't want to be on food stamps, but I fucking am. I don't have any choice about that. I can't feed my fucking family. I can't even fucking feed me and my fucking husband. Two adults.
I really, really, really want to breed, but I don't want the financial responsibility left after that. So I'm
That's
just
why I
not
got
gonna
fixed.
do it.
Well, Jim, sell your sperm at a fucking sperm bank.
That's not the same as breeding.
No,
Oh,
but
wait,
you'll
wait,
still
That's
have
Jim,
just
armies.
Wait,
fertilized.
Yeah, but think
Jim.
of it. No, think of it,
I,
Jim. You'll
I
have all
agree
of a sudden
with
all these
Elliot.
mothers wondering why their son or daughter's an evil little bastard.
I agree with Elliot. You should totally do that.
What the fuck? Why is my kid so evil? She was supposed
Yes,
to be
yes,
good.
yes, yes. No, but at the
And the
same
fun
time, I'll
part
be
is,
honest to God.
I did score a 152 on my IQ test.
So they're a smart
Yay.
evil bastard.
Yeah,
They're
they would be nice. They'd look at that like, oh, that's kind of impressive.
Right now,
Someone might be
Jim,
attracted to a smart little baby. And then it comes
Jim,
out and says, I'm going to eat you.
you are obligated at this point to breed the new generation of evil masterminds, whether you
Yeah, I
like it
thought
or
I
not.
was.
That's great.
Okay, well, okay.
Elliot, you're a generation behind, Jim.
Okay, Jim, you do the East Coast, I'll do the West Coast.
That
So,
works. Let's do that.
these fundamental misunderstandings are why modern proponents of socialism are wrong. And it's why, if he really was a socialist, Dr. King was wrong too.
Well, yeah,
Hmm.
that's why I haven't said I was a socialist since I was about 15. And that was when I didn't know what socialism meant.
I never claimed I was a socialist. I don't even understand what a fucking socialist is.
I understand it now, but when I was 15, I thought it.
Well, no, it has always meant something bad. So why?
Long story.
My mother passed away in 1995, and my grandfather died last month.
Mm.
It is in their honor that I tell their story, and on their behalf, I make this plea.
Oh, so this person is very, very old.
Just like with Nazism, we must make it socially unacceptable to express any positive sentiments towards socialism or communism.
I don't
Its
think we should
100
make it
million victims cry out.
socially unacceptable. We should just debate them and call them out on their idiocy like Nazism.
Yeah, I think that's what we should be doing the whole time.
No, but they're way too old to understand YouTube. So
I don't know. I've seen fucking 80-year-olds on YouTube.
As I've seen this, there's this
8-year-olds
one
have an
website on there
excuse.
that loves firing up new firearms to show them off.
I've seen people who are older than my parents who know vastly more than me about social networks and Snapchat and Pinterest and
Elliot,
Instagram. And I'm just sitting there going, you know what? I am glad I'm so out of touch.
Elliot, you're what? 26 years old?
24.
Oh, well, I am high. Yeah, you're very, very young. A lot of us people here are just like so fucking old. We just don't give a fuck about anything at all.
Yeah.
I just have to re-highlight this. My grandmother only escaped the torture of being starved to death under Joseph Stalin when she, along with the man who became my grandfather, were kidnapped by the Nazis and taken to Germany as slave labor. So it's, like I said, just jumping out of the fire into the frying pan.
Yes.
Just doing the... you have to sit there and say how shitty it had to have been living under the USSR in the Ukraine at that time, if going to a Nazi concentration camp was an improvement.
Yep. I just can't. I mean, I can't even imagine what it would be. Okay, wake up. Okay, are you all alive? Nope. Pete's dead. Pete's dead.
Oh, if it makes you feel better, Jane Yolen wrote a bunch of stuff about concentration camps. So,
but I mean, yeah, just imagine waking up and checking on all your family. Okay, Uncle Ned. Oh shit, Uncle Ned's dead. Okay, what about Aunt Jenny? Oh,
no. If you ask me, the worst part isn't so much waking up every day; it's the getting off the train. That would be the worst part.
Well, no, I'm talking about in the Soviet Union.
No, if you ask the Holocaust, right? When they started,
I'm talking about in the Soviet Union.
When they started sorting people into the Holocaust camps, they separated whole families for no good reason. And I don't see why the fucking Soviets wouldn't do the same goddamn thing.
Well, because they didn't put them in the gulags. They were literally at their house, but they just had no food. So it was literally
Yes,
like
the
you.
Holodomor was all about starvation, yes.
Yeah, so you would literally wake up and okay, let's see. Okay, Dave's alive. Okay, John's alive. Okay, Pete, oh shit, Pete's dead. So but just imagine doing that every day of your life. And then finally being saved from the constant pain in your stomach. Hey, look, I actually get a piece of bread every day.
It doesn't hurt after a while.
Well, I mean,
All right.
Starvation doesn't hurt after a while.
So now that we've gone over all the fucking reasons people would have voted for Trump and went at each other's throats and shat on each other as well as everything else in the universe, let's end this on a high note and actually brighten our days.
That humanity fucking sucks and we all deserve to die?
School's mystery pooper identified as nearby district superintendent.
I'm the mystery pooper. I'm the mystery pooper.
Police in New Jersey said a mystery pooper was responsible for repeatedly leaving human feces on a high school's field, was identified as a nearby school superintendent.
Things to do today. Wake up, feed the cat, and shit on the field.
He's the hero we all deserve.
President. Yeah. This is presidential material.
The Holmdel Township Police Department said Holmdel High School staff were finding fresh piles of poop on a daily basis in the area surrounding the facility's football track and field.
This guy must eat a lot of fiber.
I hope.
Mr. Trump, make this legal. You'll get my vote.
I don't think he wants your vote. Sadly. It's not cool enough.
The school resource officer and school staff monitored the area and identified the mystery pooper as Thomas Tremaglini, 42 of Matawan.
President
Tremaglini is the superintendent of the Kenilworth School District, which does not include Holmdel High School, officials said.
So he's shitting on a rival school's.
Yeah.
I'm just fertilizing the football field here.
God bless his fecal soul.
We learned of municipal court charges facing our current superintendent of schools in Holmdel, New Jersey, the board said in a statement. Given the nature of those charges, he asked for and was granted a paid leave of absence.
I'd like to be paid so I can still shit on things.
Yes. The district said Director of Academics Brian Luciani will step in for him, who has served as superintendent since 2015.
I swear to not defecate on the high school football field, unless I really have to.
But fingers crossed.
Tremaglini faces charges of defecating in public, lewdness, and littering, police said.
Littering? I love that. Well, technically he was, but it's littering. What was the litter? Human
litter?
Feet?
No. I wonder if he's out there wiping his butt with toilet paper.
Neighbors warn of mad poopers soiling lawns.
Oh.
Residents of New York State neighborhood are on the lookout for a mad pooper accused of repeatedly defecating outside of a woman's home.
I'm the mad pooper who poops at midnight.
Well, out of a specific person's home?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I'm a mad pooper.
Orchard Park Police confirmed they received a complaint November 8th from a woman in the Woodview Court area. Sounds like a ritzy area. Who said she found human feces wrapped in tissue outside her home.
At least they wrapped it.
Yeah. It was gift wrapped.
It's a present for you.
It's easy to pick up. Come on.
The woman said it was a repeat occurrence. An
Oh.
anonymous ad placed in the Orchard Park Penny Saver bore a warning for the culprit. To the person jogger who is pooping on our lawns in the village. OP, stop.
But it's fine.
The ad informs the person dubbed the Mad Pooper online that they are violating an ordinance against depositing untreated sewage on land or water and states that the trail cameras have been set up to catch them in the midst of their business. Well, thank you for letting me know what to look out for so I could continue doing it and now not get caught.
Yeah, right. Thanks for telling me where the cameras are.
Police said they have responded to defecation calls before, but it's usually in the area of New Era Field during or after Buffalo Bills games.
I'm so excited that the Bills are playing. I'm going to shit on the field.
The police told Buffalo News they don't have much to go on in the case.
Except that we know there's defecation involved. And
honest to God, I swear. If somebody pooped in my yard, I literally wouldn't care because I probably wouldn't notice any difference from an animal poop.
See, the thing I want to know is, aren't human feces supposed to have like DNA in them?
Yes, they are.
So send them to the lab and get DNA tested. And the rest of poor son of a bitch you.
But as I said,
Tim Thompson, you're under arrest. Oh shit.
Serial pooper makes repeated visits to New Orleans woman's steps. A New Orleans woman says a serial pooper has been leaving nasty surprises on her steps in the early morning hours, and she recently caught the culprit on camera. The St. Rock woman said that someone had done the dirty deed on her front steps more than a dozen times during the past month.
That doesn't sound like they're fucking.
Yeah. And occasional sightings have led her to believe there is a single fecal bandit behind the messes.
Fecal bandit.
Someone comes here almost every morning and poops, the woman told WDSU TV.
Why does this woman not get a fucking camera on her goddamn front
She got a picture of the guy.
Yeah, but a better one.
A video of one of the incidents shows what appears to be a man wearing a wig and woman's clothing defecating on the woman's steps.
Good God, it's Jim.
Then you need more cameras because holy shit, dude. That's
what were you doing in New Orleans, Jim?
She said the culprit has been spotted in multiple similar outfits.
Yeah, well, so why don't those people have cameras? Come on.
I don't look that good pooping.
Oh, well, Jim, you know.
I don't, and I don't want to know. Thank you.
You have to be humble. You can't flatter yourself, of course.
They're very big, about 6 foot 1 inches, and muscular. Well, I'm not muscular. I am so not muscular. So I've seen 3 different wigs and tight pants, and a variety of tops, and a big bag.
That's my big bag of human shit.
The
woman said she has filed 2 police reports about the repeated incidents. Oh, it's awful and disgusting to have to pull the hose out and hose it off.
Yes, we're looking for Jack the Pooper.
Mm-hmm. We're right by the market, and a lot of people have to pass down this street.
Oh God, what smells like
shit on my front steps?
What smells like shit?
A lot of people pass by here walking dogs, and I have to drag the hose out, and it makes me sick.
And the dogs are like, "Oh, he gets to do it. Why don't I get to shit on lawns?"
Neighbor John Victorson said public pooping has become a major problem in the area.
Public pooping has become a major problem in the area.
No, seriously, why?
Because these are my kind of
people pooping in your lawn? Why?
Because
there has to be a reason. Why are people pooping on your lawn? God damn. This doesn't make any sense.
Because it's fun.
Somebody has been coming along early in the morning and defecating in the corners, said Victor. Said it's just kind of that kind of neighborhood. Not everyone can get home quick enough.
Well, hell, I'd love to live
Not
in
e-
a
wait, wait,
neighborhood.
wait, wait. Not everyone can get home quick enough. I really have to shit. I really have. Oh, okay, I can't.
Yep.
I would
Parents,
absolutely love to live in a neighborhood where people are allowed to shit and go on lawns because, oh my gosh, why?
parents in South Arlington, Virginia, raised a stink earlier in the summer about a serial pooper targeting public parks playground equipment on multiple occasions.
No, okay, here's my problem. I've literally never seen somebody who is actually willing to poop outside. Like, everybody I know wants to just, go where they feel more comfortable. Poop wise. Who the fucking
Well,
cares
and
about
also
pee?
used to say they poop right there. They might carry it around with them and just drop it.
No, nobody wants to poop there, though.
Eh.
Everybody's real specific about how they poop.
Hashtag GG Allen.
Oh, jeez. People are just
Police said
silly.
they were increasing patrols in the area in hopes of catching or dissuading the deuce dropping delinquent.
Mm.
And just in case you thought this was an American problem, mystery pooper targeting holes of Norwegian golf course.
Oh, God love
They
you,
used to
Norway.
burn down churches. Now they shit holes in golf courses.
Yeah.
We love you, Norway. We love you.
The groundskeeper of a Norwegian golf course said a mystery pooper had been targeting course holes. Must be a man because the poos are too massive to be from a woman.
Oh, please.
Really?
That's just insulting.
Yes.
I can lay down a deuce the same as anybody.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
What? It's just a poop, god damn it.
We've learned that you wet the bed and shit huge. Thank you.
No, I don't shit the bed, so
Well, that's good.
Kenneth Tenfjord, groundskeeper at Stavanger Golf Club, said he has been finding human feces and toilet paper in course holes since 2005.
well, I
I have
applaud.
it. It's a little collection I have. It's called
And this was written in 2015, so that's a decade.
a decade.
A
Swine
decade.
Brothers special. If we get to 10 years without killing each other, the Swine Brothers special, a decade of shitting in golf courses.
No, well, how can we not applaud this asshole that's going out and pooping in golf holes?
And that will be hey, wait a minute. That was 2015. We started the show in 2015. Jim, did you live in Norway for 10 years without telling us?
Yes. He has a couple of favorite holes, Tenfjord told Rogaland Avis newspaper. And we know it's a man because the poos are too massive to be from a woman. He poos only on weekdays. On weekends, I've never found poo on the golf course, Tenfjord said. He said the fecal discoveries are usually accompanied by used toilet paper.
Nah. Pussy.
Did you ever hear the story in Mexico where the guy, he went to go to the bathroom on a Mexican train, right? And he unfortunately had happened to look down in the Mexican train and saw where the toilet ended up and emptied into the railroad tracks.
That is not uncommon.
Steiner Floysvik, I'm butchering that horribly, managing director of the club, said the mystery pooper used to arrive via bicycle. You know this much and haven't been able to
know that.
In the early morning dew, we observed bicycle tracks on the course, footsteps that showed he had done his business, and the bicycle tracks disappeared the way back they came. Another groundskeeper said the club installed high-powered spotlights to discourage the defecation, but the pooperator disabled them.
The pooperator. But I have a question. I mean, it's because I shit. It's not always a single turd. Sometimes it's like several small ones, and
Half the time it's diarrhea. Yeah.
yeah. So he's oh.
He climbed up a tree next to the lights and wriggled far out on a branch and dismantled the spotlights. How he managed the feat without electrocuting himself or falling is a riddle.
Who puts this much effort into doing something so stupid?
He's really determined.
Someone we need to hang out with.
Right?
What do you do for fun? I shit on golf courses.
You're in.
Yeah.
The pooper's motives are unknown. Our idea is that it could be someone who, for unknown reasons, hates the game of golf.
I like that.
Alternatively, the person may have a fetish or suffer from mental problems.
Well, that's just, aiming for all the fucking parts of the board.
I'm telling you, it was Jim.
Oh.
Although I don't see Jim climbing a tree anytime soon.
Oh, I've done it before.
Yeah, but I mean now.
Oh God, that's all I got for right now.
Sorry, I had to get something off my lip. Okay, this has been the Swine Brothers Show, episode 145. We hope you enjoy. I mean, there's a little bit of everything here. There was arguments,
Cannibalism,
Trump, and shit talking, literally.
And cannibalism.
For May 6th.
Hey, you know what? That did tie into the whole entire Trump thing because kids liked voting for him because he was a shit talker.
And Trump in England means fart. You can get in contact with us at Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com and talk about how stupid Jim is and how awesome I am. Twitter is Swine or Facebook is Swine Brothers, and Twitter is SwineBros666. Our usual gang of idiots is Danamon, the token female.
No, cannibalist.
Jim, the token Jim. And Elliot, the token blind guy. So long.
And living in the end times, Darren Nesbitt in Conversation said, "Fuck off."